What's up, guys? It's the Indie Games Podcast. We are back for another episode. This episode, we have lined up 3 topics for you, including the Indie World reaction, our reaction to it, sort of doing our highlights and a wrap-up, the Idea Xbox showcase as well, and also a ton of awesome new releases that have come out recently, and also we're expecting to come out very soon. We'll be back with all that in just a moment. Catch you in a sec, guys. Okay, guys, we are live and we are ready. Let's do this. As I say, we are back for another Indie Games podcast. Very excited. It seems like it's been forever. I do say that every time, which is very, very bad, I know. But I think I did get a little bit ill and it was just all not falling into place for us. But now we are back and we are so ready for some awesome Indie Games talk. I've got my 2 brothers here with me, my partners in crime for the Indie Games podcast crew. As you know, we are now the solid regular crew. And I cannot wait to catch up with you guys because it's been too long. So yeah, Luke, how are you doing, my friend? It's been way too long since we spoke. How's it been?
It's been very well, thank you. Yeah, been very, very well, and good to be back.
Good to hear, buddy. No, that's fantastic. I don't even know. Did we do one in last month, or did we? Yeah, we did do one, but I think it just seems like a big gap, like 6 weeks.
It just seems like ages ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, feels weird, but yeah, no. So you've been up to much then? Have you been gaming much, or been busy in life, or what's been going on for you?
No, I've been pretty busy in life. Last few weeks have been pretty good. A bit quieter. In that aspect. So yeah, I've been doing a bit more gaming, which has been nice, and just trying to get through everything before the next thing comes out, which is just, it's just crazy at the minute. There's so much coming out all the time. But
yeah. Absolutely, yeah. It's a never-ending saga of games, isn't it? It's a good thing to have, isn't it? Problem-wise, but yeah, there's just always stuff on the plate. What have you been playing lately, my friend? Anything juicy?
Well, from an indie perspective, very little juicy, I must say. I think like the first bit of this year has been a tad quieter for indies, I'd say. Not like quiet, but I think it's there's always peaks and troughs, no matter what, whether it's AAA or indie or whatever, right? So, so for me, just still playing Dead Space. I'm really crawling through that, even though I'm really enjoying it. I kind of dropped it for a while because I was so busy, so I've kind of just picked it back up. Resident Evil 4 remake as well, which is just great. I've been playing some Horizon DLC. So that's kind of been it, I guess. That's really been it. It's just been anything I could get my hands on for a bit and enjoy. So yeah, just those bits.
Awesome. So Do we fire him, Scott, or I'm only joking? The indie side has been let down by Luke today. I'm sure you'll make
can't
up
even
for it.
think of any indie games I've played recently. That's how bad
You can't
it's
even make
become.
one up.
I can't even make one up. Oh no, hang on, wait. I've got one. I did play. This was yesterday actually. I played the demo for a game called Cultic, which I don't know if anybody's seen.
No.
So that's a retro kind of 3D Realms inspired indie first person shooter.
Nice.
So it's kind of like a culty Duke Nukem.
Yes,
the best way I can describe it.
3D rounds. They've been around for years, haven't they? That's weird. Did they have a break, or did they come back? What happened with them?
I don't even remember. Yeah, well, they've just been around forever. I think they moved a lot into publishing, which is where they tend to crop up a lot now. Which is on this game, for example, they're the publisher, but the developer's actually a very small independent. I think it's maybe one guy or a couple of people. So
nice.
So I played the demo for that. It's really, really cool as well. So I think if you're into your kind of classic 90s FPS games with that art style, then go and check it out. There's a demo on Steam, so you can have a play first.
Nice, fantastic, my friend. You just saved yourself there, I think. No, just kidding, but you know that. And I know you'll be pouring in the indie love very soon, no doubt, when more come along. It's just, I know you can't turn down a bit of survival horror, especially when it's Resident Evil remakes and stuff like that.
That's my weakness.
Yeah, exactly. That's all good. Anyway, it's good to be hanging with you again, buddy. And Scotty Baby, a second time on the podcast as a official co-host. How are you doing, Scott, brother? Have you been well?
I'm doing very well, indeed, man. Thank you very much. It's good to be back. Yeah, it feels like it's been a good 3 months or something since we last did a show.
It does with it
was just last month. Just was it just before WSD or was it after?
I think
it was just before, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was because we did it early in the month, and now we've come late this month, if you know what I mean. So yeah, we'll try and get that regular, guys. We'll get back into a better, tighter schedule for you, for our own sake as well.
But I've been good, mate. Thank you very much for asking. It's been a good week or a couple of weeks for games. So and I have actually been playing some indie games on
there you go. Nice. So a little bit of
that you would approve of as well, I'm sure.
Oh, excellent. We'd love to hear about it. What have you been playing on the indie scene?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit late to the party, but a little game called Inscription kind of just shadow dropped out of nowhere on Xbox a couple of weeks back. I'm pretty sure they hadn't even announced it. They had announced it for PlayStation, and I think it had released for PlayStation, and then just literally out of nowhere, it's just like, oh, Inscription's available on Xbox today. And it's been a game I've been wanting to pick up for some time. Luke, I know you're a big fan of the game.
Oh, yes.
And people were raving about it. So, right, I've definitely got to check this out. So I've been playing a lot of that recently. I'm honestly a little confused. Right, so it was a card game, and then I was like, holy shit, am I playing Immortality again or something?
Oh,
at the end of the first act. I think I've kind of got a little bit of what's going on. I'd say halfway through Act 3 at the moment. I think that's the final act. Unless there's some more surprises, I'm not entirely sure. But I'm really, really enjoying what I've played. I struggled a little bit during Act 1, and then something just clicked during one fight, and I was like, okay, now I kind of get it. So that's been taking a lot of my time recently. I just started Coffee Talk. This weekend. We'll
the new
touch
one
on Coffee
is
Talk episode
2. Yeah, 2.
Yeah, so I haven't started 2. I just started the first one after I saw a little bit more about episode 2. As someone who likes making coffee, I thought I'd check it out.
Nice.
I'm sure we'll touch on that in a little bit as well.
There was a little bit of info about the second one, wasn't there, on one of the showcases, I believe.
I think it's come out episode 2 actually.
Yeah, so maybe I think it was the 13th.
3-4 hours or so each episode, so it's not too long.
Okay, cool, nice, fantastic stuff. So that's awesome. So I remember you saying you were a little bit stuck at one point. You got past that now, didn't you, on the old Inscription? Is that right?
Yeah. So. I mean, is it spoilers to talk about the end of Act 1 at the moment? I mean, it's been out a while. But, there's something that you need to get during the run to
to
proceed. It took me far too long to select the right item that would allow you to I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Because I finished Act 1, I struggled actually to defeat the third boss for a little time. And then then the card game, just something clicked. There's a few things that you can do that really can make the combat easier. So that kind of clicked, and I was like, oh, thank Christ for that. And then I got to the end, I was like, hold on, I've obviously missed something here because I hadn't completed it. So but I'm really, really enjoying it.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, I've not played it either. Actually, I need to get on that really because I do own it. I know it's terrible.
You should check it out, mate. You should check it out.
I like the idea of the fact that it just doesn't follow any rules of game design. That's what I can get the idea of anyway. It takes its own route. It seems anyway. That's what I'm getting the idea of.
Yeah, the best way I could kind of describe it. Obviously, there's a very heavy card game element to it, but particularly the first act, it's kind of like an escape room. Is kind of a way to describe it if you like them. Obviously, you mainly do runs via the card game, but there's so much more to the environment that you need to figure out and work out, and that's part of the appeal.
Nice.
So you should definitely check it out, Indy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's about to get crazy for me, but one day. It's already crazy at the moment. You can see a little picture on the screen of a game I'm extremely excited for, which I'll definitely talk about later. Again, I think I've spoken about it on every podcast for the last, I don't know how long, but it's actually going to be coming out soon, and that's obviously Benedict Fox.
This week? This coming week?
The coming week. So we'll get to that later, save that goodness. But there's so much, isn't there? And it's just... good times. So yes, awesome to hear you've been enjoying some games there, indie games. You win the points over Luke for this week, but I know I haven't played Inscription, so I lose points as well. So, but fantastic stuff, guys. I'm very much looking forward to hanging out with you and chatting some indie games today. As I said earlier, we are checking out the Indie World showcase, which happened on the 19th. The Idea Xbox one was actually a little while ago, earlier in the month. And we're going to round up on those and do sort of like our wrap up highlights kind of thing and give our take on the format thing. That's inevitable. We're going to dive into what we think of the format. You can probably guess which one we're going to slag off, but we'll get to that. And also we'll go down the route of some new indie games that are on the scene that we want to highlight and let you know about, and sort of sharing the goodness for, so you can, if you see something you like, then check it out kind of thing. New games that have come out recently over this month, and also maybe coming in the next few weeks or whatever. That's all good, fair game. But yes, I want to shout out some legends in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, guys. It means a lot to see you in. There's some great names in there. We've got the Mad Belmont back in after being on the show last time. It was awesome hanging out with you, brother. Thank you so much for coming back by. It's great to see you in. We've also got the legendary Meisuko, the boss mod in the house. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Stubbs Gaming as well. What a legend you are. Thank you for all your support, buddy, and friendship. It's great to see you in. We have Judzilla back in the house. Awesome to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. We have who do we have as well? We have the Indie Journey. Great to see you back in, my friend. Thank you for coming by. We have Blizmo, Smokeback Official, DeFloyd, and Rishab in the house. And I apologize if I've forgotten anyone else in there, but thank you so much, everyone who's here. We're looking forward to hanging out with you. Share this bad boy out as well, guys. It would mean a lot, and hit that like button. It certainly helps with all the old YouTube algorithms and stuff, all that fun stuff. But that would mean a lot, guys, if you fancied sharing this bad boy out. Get some more friends in here and let's chat some indie games. But let's go ahead and get on this with the show on the road, essentially. And I think we're going to start off this week with the Indie World. Like I say, a bit of a wrap up on that, talk about our favorite games that were shown, talk about the whole sort of concept of the indie world as well, this sort of format. But just generally speak about what was happening with the indie world, because there was some really cool stuff shown off actually on this indie world as well. So I don't know if any of you guys in the chat saw Indie World. Let us know if you caught the actual show yourselves in the chat. And like I say, we'll dive into it. If you didn't, we've got you covered anyway. But yes, so it's going to be rolling on the screen anyway if you to catch up a little bit. But yes, what I'm going to do is just let you know, we had a ton of games shown from Indie World. This is... I can't hesitate but get into a bit of the format talk. I have to say, it's 20 minutes long, the Indie World, and they got 21 games rammed into it with a beautifully edited presentation. 20 minutes of your life is all you need to put forward, and you see some awesome stuff. We'll get into the comparison between this and the Idea Xbox later on, I think, but I just think they package it so well. The Indie World showcases, they do it basically once every quarter, roughly. And yeah, show off indie games in a really good way. They haven't changed their format for a long time. It's just tried and tested, well-oiled machine. And yeah, like I say, they do a great job of showing off some games. There were some quality ones in there as well. One that Luke might be surprised that I was actually sort of coming around to as well, which I mean, maybe we'll go into some people's highlights, but I tell you what, let's pass this around the crew and just see what you thought as a whole, and then we'll dive into some games specifically if you like, guys. So yeah, Luke, brother, did you check out the Indie World, and what did you think of it as a whole, buddy?
Yeah, I did. I watched it. I didn't watch it live, but I watched it after the fact. And it was decent. I mean, in terms of like, there's kind of two different elements of it. There's the presentation element, which is super high quality, the exact way that you should do this kind of show. Yeah, we'll get on to a way that you probably shouldn't do the show. And then there's the content, and sometimes the Indie World content's really good. But I mean, this is all very subjective, right? Sometimes it's very good, sometimes it's not so good. For me, it wasn't great. There was some cool stuff in there, and we'll talk about some of that. And probably one of the things that was really cool was the thing that surprisingly has got past your censure rating. So like, well, it was.
We'll get into that. There's a reason. Yeah. If you saw the trailer on that, we'll get into that later. I won't spoil it.
Yeah. We'll get into that one. But it was solid, and the thing is, you never. I mean, the good thing is, even if you're in, like, say, my position for this show, where it wasn't content-wise the most amazing thing in the world, you don't feel cheated by the show, because it's 20 minutes. It's very well put together, very well edited. You don't feel like that time has been stolen from you. Which I think in some other shows you sit through a much longer period. And sometimes you have even less to show for it.
That's exactly it. So, it's exactly it. So I counted them purposefully. Again, we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves for Idea Xbox. We're going to compare them, of course, format-wise. But yeah, the Idea Xbox show had 11 games. And how long did that last compared to this 20-minute type presentation of the
3 or 4 days from memory?
Yeah, exactly. Do you see what I mean? The difference there. It's just crazy, really. But yeah. And they still managed to get little developer interviews in there, and they still managed to give insight, but it's just tightly done and just ideal, really. Yeah, so you enjoyed it, but it wasn't probably your best Indie World then, is that what you would say?
Yeah, not the best Indie World they've ever done in terms of the actual games that were there for me. Obviously that'll differ person to person.
It's all subjective,
but in terms of the format and the time, excellent as usual.
The usual kind of sort of setup, isn't it, for them?
Yeah.
But yeah, some good ones in there that I think you will have enjoyed. Of course, we'll come back around to the games in a minute. And but yeah, just to get Scott, maybe your thoughts as a whole about the Indie World, brother. What did you think?
Yeah, I think it looks really hit the nail on the head. To be perfectly honest, the format at the very worst is inoffensive, if that makes any sense. I watched it back after the fact at 1.25 times speed, which I tend to do on YouTube, and what's that, like 15 minutes of my time? There's a couple of cool things shown. As Luke mentioned, the content is obviously very subjective. There's going to be indie games that appeal to people and maybe don't appeal to others. It was a little bit more on the unappealing side from a game perspective. There's one highlight which is actually on the screen at the moment, which is Play It Up, which I have actually played, which is cool. Excellent if you enjoy Overcooked. So I thought it was a decent show. Like I said, at the end of it, I was happy with what I saw. I give it 50 minutes of my time, and I think, as Luke mentioned, it's kind of how it should be done for these types of show. And Nintendo have really got this format down to a T. The main critique I would have about the actual format and the presentation is I do often find the VO to be a little bit too overly enthusiastic and
I think this time that was this time was the most, I would say. That was the more
which grated on me a bit. So did it stand out this time a little bit to be a little bit worse for you, Indy?
Definitely.
Because I did think it doesn't usually grate on me as much as it did, but
it was the girl voice she was quite extreme.
It stood out. But I can put up with that for 15 minutes when you get to see some cool games. So we'll touch on the Xbox showcase in a bit, but there's such a stark contrast between the two styles, and it's still baffling to me that they haven't adopted they've shifted. I mean, Indy, you remember me and you, I can't remember who else was on the show. We sat through 4 hours of that initial Twitch ID at Xbox stream.
Yes,
so they've come a long way since then, but they've still got so much more they can do, and it still is a little surprising that they haven't learned more from Nintendo.
I kind of think they haven't come a long way in a way. I think they've just cut it down and done the same somehow. But we'll get to that again later. The ID at Xbox for sure. I think we're going to tear it apart, which is healthy. I think.
But you nailed it, mate. It's when you look at the content to time ratio. If the Xbox One had 50 games, then maybe you could justify it's like, oh, holy shit, they had to have an hour-long show because they had so much to cram into it, but they didn't. They had less content than Nintendo's, and so much of it's just padded, and it just doesn't make for an enjoyable show. We'll come on to more about the Xbox stuff in a minute. I know we want to focus on the indie world. So there was a couple of games that did stand out to me. One release date in particular that I kind of wanted to see a little bit more about. But overall a decent show.
Nice. I mean, because I don't know, maybe I'm getting a bit of a sort. Good. I mean, obviously you're saying it's a good show, both you guys. I think there's quite a few on this list. Maybe I can entice you back into thinking even a little bit more positively. I know you're thinking it's still good, but I'm gonna bring some games to your back onto your attention, see if we can get that back up to a little bit even more positive about it, if you see what I mean. Because I think there was actually quite a few in here, but maybe it's all like subjective anyway. So I know there's definitely one at least which I think Luke will be excited for. So I mean, let me maybe run through a few. Shall I mention a few of mine, and then I can sort of like pass it over to you guys to say what your highlights were potentially. So it might make it. Oh, I'll tell you what I could do. Why shall I do this? I'll talk about a few of mine. So a few of my highlights, actually one on the screen right now is definitely one of my highlights, which is Rift of the Necrodancer. I don't know if you guys have checked out the original and are aware of this game at all, but this is a sequel to Crypt of the Necrodancer, and this is already on my radar anyway, but I just think it looks fantastic. The rhythm aspect is great. It's maybe not quite as unique as the original game, being a dungeon crawler aspect to it, but I'm still really up for this game. I think it looks fantastic, and it was great to see it being shown off. It fits in perfectly. I think they've shown off before like Cadence of Hyrule, which is remember a game of collaboration between them as well. That was it made sense that this would be in it, of course. But I thought it looked cool. Did you guys think? What do you think of this? You up for this sort of thing? I think Scott might be sort of
From my perspective, Indy, I do. When I saw it originally, I was like, it took me back to my youth playing Guitar Hero.
Yes,
when you got the 3 lanes, which did get me really excited. Wasn't a massive fan of the art style. I think that was the only thing that maybe put me off a little bit of that. But I think with rhythm games, it's how it feels to play, not necessarily how it looks, isn't it? So
definitely,
I did think it looked interesting. I haven't played Crypt of the Necrodancer or Cadence of Hyrule, unfortunately. But this one did actually stand out to me as one of my favorites. Really, like I say, just I do kind of miss the old Guitar Hero games. It's been so long since I've played them. So seeing them look pretty cool. So I actually added this to my wish list straight after the stream. Actually,
nice. So that was good then. Good to hear that got on there for you. I mean, like for me, there was quite a bit on the actual showcase that was good. Like I say, I'll go through a few of my total ones, and like Rift and Necrodancer, like I say, was really good. And also, surprisingly for Luke, probably, I'm definitely up for some Blasphemous 2. I know I've slagged it off before and it been in vulgarity, but there wasn't any vulgarity in flying babies. That basically it's got me back.
I did think about this, Indy. I did think about this. Do you think with it being a Nintendo show that the trailer was toned down?
That's a good shout, actually.
It was a relatively tame trailer. I mean, I've not played the first one, but we were speaking about it with the Mad Belmont during the last last show, and I get where you're coming from, and I thought this one looked really tame.
It did. I suppose so.
I can only assume that they hold him back.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's time I just open up though to it, because a lot of people love the game, and maybe it is time I just just sort of like grimace at the baby bit and then just get on with it after that. You know what I mean? Just sort of like take that bit on the chin and probably love the rest of the game, if that makes sense. No, probably once I get into the lore of it, because it is all based on real like Spanish folklore, isn't it, or something? Am I right, Luke?
Yeah. It's like Spanish religious folklore.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's quite interesting. I think it does look great in the actual Metroidvania aspect and the combat, and that's obviously right at home for me. So maybe I could give it a chance, and I do think it looks fantastic. But yeah, what did you think of it, Luke, when you saw Blasphemous 2 shown off?
Yeah, it looked really good. I mean, I think Scott's probably right in that they probably didn't allow the undead children to make an appearance or anything kind of more vulgar than that. But I think, from what they've shown of it, it's very similar to the first game, but kind of just with enhanced movesets. They've got a proper kind of swing dash in there now, amongst other things. So
okay, so that's different, is it? That wasn't in the first thing.
Yeah, some of the movement stuff is different from the first game. The first game was kind of ploddy in a good way. It's more like like a Dark Souls style movement,
right?
But 2D. They look to be kind of a bit faster. It's more like a Bloodborne type movement, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I think this it looked really good. The first game was really good.
Yeah.
And this one just looks like more of it, but better. So I'm excited to get my hands on that one.
Nice. Yeah. So would you say the first one was more heavier kind of feeling sort of combat?
Yeah. I mean, at least it was in comparison to what they showed in this trailer. This one looked a bit more zippy.
Yes, maybe that's what I like as well. Actually, I think there's something about this which I quite like compared. If that makes sense.
Yeah, a bit more pep in the step in this one, I think. So, but that's cool, and everything else looks pretty similar, not in a derogatory way, but just it's clearly a sequel. I think that should be good.
Yeah, I thought looked at the new weapons that they showed off in the trailer looked pretty cool. I think was it the rapier was kind of the third one that they showed off.
Yes.
Which would be kind of more my style. They showed off like the quite heavy hammer. I'm not too sure how they described it, but I thought the new weapon choices they introduced looked pretty cool as well. Yeah,
really, really good stuff. And I mean, it's got a great, really fantastic art style. Really quite unique, actually. Yeah. In terms of what it's doing. I thought that was. It looked really good. Nice. I thought it was the best thing at the show, basically.
Yeah, that's your highlight of it. Yeah. I thought it might be. Yeah. Did you play the original one, Scott? Or
I didn't. It's on my Steam, I guess, wish list. I know it's already out. It's kind of one of those games that I was thinking, after we spoke with Matt Belmont, I said at the time, it's cost my wallet that show because my wish list grew by about 10 games. So I did actually add it to that, and I thought, it'd be a game hopefully when I can pick up a Steam Deck later this year, or maybe in Asus ROG Ally, maybe, depending on pricing. I know we've been chatting about that on Twitter. That would be great to pick up for that.
Definite. Yeah, no, it's always on a good sale as well, the old original as well. So that's if you were talking about the original Blasphemous there, weren't you? Sorry. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, cool. Fantastic. Cool. It looks great. I'm just going to sidetrack quickly, though, to a legend in the chat, Mr. BMG in the house. How are you doing, my friend? Thank you so much for your very kind generosity with the super chat. You're an awesome guy, my friend. Thank you very much for that. You didn't have to do that, but you are a legend for doing so, and we really appreciate it, your support. So, you mentioned great show, guys. P.S. Sonic sucks. There you go, Scott. That's probably for you.
I don't know why you're giving the satisfaction of reading that there. I would say it's got to be at least a tenner to have things like that.
Yeah.
Surely.
Maybe we should set a mark where it's
yeah, Sonic slanders at least double figures.
I love that, love it. But yeah, no, that's very kind, my friend. The Sonic saga continues. Brilliant. But no, it's great to see you in, buddy, and thank you very much for that. It's much appreciated. So let's see, where were we? So yeah, a couple others that I really love the look of. I'd love to see there. I mean, obviously, Oxenfree 2 showing up again was great to see. A bit of controversy in the Xbox community over that one, that it's not coming to Xbox, apparently. What do you think of that, guys?
Is that the one that's coming to Netflix?
Yeah,
not Xbox.
They actually own the studio, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So back in, when was it that happened? Quite a while back, I think, that they bought up the studio, so they're publishing it. And yeah, basically Oxenfree 2 is now, but I don't know why there's just not Xbox alone, but because it was on it, the original was on Xbox. So, but yeah, I thought it looked really cool. I was kind of like at first thinking, is it a bit the same? But then there was some mechanics in there which looked really interesting, actually. Let me just bring that up for everyone. Yeah, what did you think of seeing Oxenfree 2? Are you fans of the first game? Are you up for the second game? What do you reckon, guys?
Luke, did you play the first one, Matt? Because I didn't. I didn't actually.
I played a bit. I wasn't that big of a fan, to be honest.
No, really.
I think it's weird, actually, because it's such a narrative heavy game, and I really love narrative heavy games.
Yeah.
But it was just sinfully boring. Like the bit that I played, like I don't know what it. I think the problem with narrative heavy games is that if that's all they're based around, then the narrative has to connect with you. Like it has to be something you jive with almost instantly. And my general game cutoff point, like after 5 minutes, if I don't like a game, the chances of me actually returning to it are very low. It's really tough. Yeah. So I gave that 40 minutes because it was a narrative heavy game. Because I've got to give it a chance, give the story a chance. But nothing clicked with me with it, and I do, like looking at the new one. Like I don't think anything's going to change in terms of clickage. I mean, maybe the narrative will be a lot better, but I'm not going to go out and spend the money to see if it might appeal. So unless it comes out and it gets like a 97 Metacritic or whatever, but
I think it will get quite a decent score, but it probably won't get 97. Yeah. But yeah, it is very much a narrative game. Like I know what you're saying with the first one. It is the thing that's brilliant about it is the narrative, obviously, and in my opinion, of course, and that it's the dialogue is so natural, and the kind of exchange. You know what I mean? The way it's done, it's very. The voiceover is very well voiced, and it's like I say, when you choose different routes, it always seems to flow very well between the two characters or the group of characters when they're talking and stuff like that. So I think it's very cool. I'd like the kind of atmosphere, like actually Meisuko has said in the chat there, he said he really liked the first one. I did really like it myself, but I do understand there isn't much there gameplay mechanics wise. It's definitely all focused on the narrative and the choices. Obviously it's a bit like the Walking Dead games and stuff like that. What they called, oh my god, the people who made that,
Telltale.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's the one. Yep. That sort of thing where you choose which route you want to speak and stuff like that, and it has an impact on the kind of route, and it does actually have quite a bit of impact in the first game. And at the end there's a thing where you sort of find out how much impact has taken place from your different routes, which is really cool. But yeah, I do really like the kind of like the signal thing where you have to tune in and sort of get on the signal with your like radio and stuff like that. It's a little cool mechanic in the game, and then there's some other things that they've added in along those lines. But yeah, if you enjoy narrative games, I would definitely recommend giving this a go. It kind of makes sense that Netflix have brought this up because it is so narrative heavy, if you see what I mean. So this definitely makes sense for that route. But yeah, don't fancy jumping in. And if you guys then obviously Luke's probably put it to side, he's got so many others and it's not on his hot list. But Scott, do you fancy jumping into this at all?
Yeah, I mean, just a quick I guess, side thought, Indy, out of interest, is this, with it being a Netflix game,
Yeah.
is this included in a normal Netflix subscription? Has anyone actually checked out any
I haven't
of the
actually
games
checked that, but
on
I
that service?
assumed
Yeah.
actually that that's what they were going to do. But then I guess it's not given, is it? So it might just be that they're publishing it on the consoles. But I assumed that this would go on Netflix and you'd be able to maybe do it. I don't know, but maybe I've just...
I didn't know if there was like maybe a separate tier for games, or whether you can have a specific tier to play games. I've not actually checked it out, because if it is, it actually might be a game I could check out on Netflix actually. Since
So for example,
it is. It's on Netflix.
I thought it would be,
yeah.
Like, because it's a bit like As Dusk Falls in that sense, isn't it? That's kind of very similar in the narrative focus of it. It's very narrative focused in that sense. So yeah, and that one, didn't that go to like phone and tablet as well? But I don't know if it went to Netflix, but As Dusk Falls, I think that's on. You can play that on your phone.
I guess through the cloud.
Is it? Oh, okay.
For As Dusk Falls, yeah. Did it? So what it was with that is you could control using your phone, because you could have multiple people connect rather than necessarily being playable on the phone. I guess it technically is playable on the phone via cloud, but it's more using your phone as a controller, which I thought was actually pretty cool.
Definite. Yeah, it's good from a accessibility standpoint as well. But yeah, so you guys, not much love from you, but Meisuko's bringing the love with myself. I did really enjoy the first game. There's a lot of fans out there for Oxenfree, so I'm sure a lot of people are excited for July the 12th when Oxenfree 2 will be releasing, which is pretty cool. Night School as well, they made the other game, didn't they, which has now escaped me. Oh my god, my brain's not into gear today. After Party, so yeah, that was their last game, and now they're back on Oxenfree. So but yeah, fantastic stuff. Let's see. So yeah, maybe just fire this over to you guys. Any other games that caught your eye throughout the showcase, guys? No. Do you want me to go through a few more and try and jar your memory?
I've got a couple. Yeah, I've got a couple, Indy. If nothing's tickling Luke's fancy. So the first one, like I said, it has been out a little while on PC actually, which is Played Up, which was shown earlier. I think that's coming to Switch later this year. If anyone hasn't seen that, it's and you're a fan of kind of Overcooked, it's kind of in that vein. Like I say, it's actually really fun to play. It's kind of about the overall restaurant rather than just the actual cooking.
Right.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. I would definitely recommend it, especially like I say, if you like Overcooked or if you like co-op games, something to play with the family. Really good. Really good game.
Nice.
Just as chaotic as Overcooked. You'll hate whoever you're playing with, just like you did Overcooked. So definitely recommend it. So it's nice to see this coming to other platforms as well.
Yeah, so with the rogue, so it's roguelike obviously, or light, is it? Like, how does that play into it? Do you sort of how does that? Do you know those elements work?
I think it's like procedurally generated restaurants and like scenarios that you happen to find yourself in. And then as you kind of progress, you unlock upgrades for your kitchen. So for example, you can have a cooker that's twice as powerful, so cooks things quicker and things like that. And it kind of does go a little bit silly as well. It's not just like this this oven is more powerful. There are some kind of like I say, funny elements to it. It doesn't take itself too seriously. So yeah, definitely recommend checking out, especially like I say, if you're a fan of Overcooked and you like that type of co-op game, highly recommend it.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, no, cool. It was at WASD actually, this game. So I didn't actually play it at the time, but yeah, definitely up my street because I absolutely love Overcooked 1 and 2. So yeah,
would
good
recommend
pick.
you check this out then, Indy, man.
Oh, cool, definitely. Nice. Excellent stuff. So yeah, let's go to a little cheeky one from the chat as well, which I was definitely going to mention that I definitely know that all of us are very excited for. I think you might have seen. Shout out to Blizmo in the chat there. I don't know how much there was on this on the actual showcase, but
it was about 4 seconds.
Okay, let me bring that up.
it was in the sizzle reel at the very end, Indy.
Okay, so yeah, well, I'll bring up the 4 seconds and loop maybe. But yeah, you guys, you excited for Bomb Rush Cyberpunk? It's looking fantastic. You on board?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a bit of a shame that they showed basically, the equivalent of a single grain of sand of this relative to that. showcase. So yeah, and then they spent like 15 minutes on stuff that I wasn't interested in. So yeah, no, this just looks really good. I mean, it's just Jet Set Radio, isn't it? Really, it's just like a kind of slightly different take on Jet Set Radio.
It's very much inspired by that, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's not a bad thing at all because we don't get many games that are clearly inspired by Jet Set Radio, which is a shame. So so I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Awesome. And Scotty Baby.
Yeah, the same as Luke. I was a massive Jet Set Radio fan on the Dreamcast, feature on the original Xbox as well, and yeah, we've been starved of that game. Although it's funny, I'm pretty sure just over the past few weeks there has been some rumblings of either a remake or a sequel of some variety coming from Sega as well, which is funny after so long not having a Jet Set game and then getting this and then potentially a remake or something from the original team. But yeah, it looks excellent. It was actually despite the fact it appeared for such a small amount of time, it was actually my highlight of the show, finally getting a release date for that, because I know a lot of people are very, very excited. It's just come up on my stream there. It just looks, I love the art style. Obviously, one of the differences here is that there are different, it's not just rollerblading. There's other things in here as well. So yeah, it looks excellent. I think that was it August 17th or August 18th? I think they announced the release date for that.
Yeah, let's check that for you. We're on its way back.
It won't take us long to find it.
You have to catch it when it's slashed.
Like I say, it was literally 18th, like what, 10 seconds.
Yeah, 18th of August. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking, they should have been on there more, which is definitely fair. It was on a previous Indie World though, so it's probably why it's not on there as a full trailer, because it was on there as probably the, a real big highlight of another one. Do you remember that, guys, or when it was on another Indie World?
Yeah, I think it's appeared on a couple. I think this is just kind of like the minimum they had to show just to get a release date out there, wasn't it? So. The good thing is we've got a release date. It looks excellent, so I don't think we really need to see much more of it, to be honest, at this point. As much as I would like to, just don't forward to checking it out.
Definitely. No, it's looking fantastic, and loads of people absolutely loving the look of it. I'm definitely on board for it, very, very up for it, and definitely a good shout from Blizmo there. And I know you said in the chat as well, Blizmo, that you said your highlight was Blasphemous 2. Awesome. Let us know, guys, in the chat what your highlight was from the whole showcase as well. I'd love to hear. One actually game which just popped up on the screen there for about 3 seconds. They put some good ones into this sizzle reel, didn't they? But like one game that I've been seeing on Steam like blow up quite a lot and just have amazing numbers is that Brotato. I don't know if any of you guys have played that or heard about it, but I actually think that looks really cool, and it's sort of missed me up to now, and I think I'd definitely be up for playing that. You fancy it, Luke?
No, I've heard some good things about that. And it's supposed to be really good, but again, why only show it for no amount of time? Like legitimately, like the end of the showcase, the sizzle reel stuff was probably more interesting in terms of content than the entire rest of the presentation.
The first part of it I think was the worst part of it. The first like 3 or 4 trailers were my least interesting personally, but I guess, like I say, it's all subjective. So, but I know what you mean. That's I think that's got extremely high scores on Steam, if I'm not mistaken. That particular game.
Is it already out on Steam? Is it early access, or is it?
No, I think it's fully out on Steam. If I'm not mistaken, it might be early access though. Maybe you could have a little peeky if you don't mind.
A little
amazing. Thank you so much. As I've got like a million windows.
It's only $3.99.
Really? I'm definitely buying that then.
Yeah, it's been out since September, but it looks like it's in early access.
Oh, early access still. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it 1.0 maybe when on that day at the same time as it will go to consoles? I imagine that'll probably be what they do.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. It hasn't got. Did it get a release date in the indie world?
I think it said a window. Let me just check that one more time.
I can't see anything on here that says when the 1.0 releases on Steam, but I mean it's only $3.99.
Just says 2023 on there at the moment.
Okay. I mean, overwhelmingly positive from almost 32,000 reviews for an early access game.
Yeah, I thought it had blown up a bit, and it's just like a modest looking game, but I think it's got the roguelike down, but if I'm not mistaken, it looks pretty.
Is it a twin stick?
Yeah, I think it is.
Is that kind of how it controls? Yeah.
I think I'll be up for that big time, actually. Let's. Where was I? I was just going to ask Luke, actually. I just saw something. I've completely forgot what it was now. But yeah, let me go back to my trusty little list here. Anything else, guys, that you kind of that caught your eye, or would you want me to have a little look into my list of wonders, just in case we missed it?
There was one other that I liked the look of, Indy, which was Teslagrad 2.
Nice, excellent.
Which is kind of like a physics-based puzzle game. I didn't actually play the original. I hadn't heard of this before, and I think they said they're releasing like a remastered version of the first game alongside Teslagrad 2. I don't know if you're able to bring that up.
Definitely.
But I thought that looked pretty interesting.
Definitely looks cool, actually. Yeah, no, that's a good shout. That's actually kind of one I didn't write on my shortlist, and I probably should have, because it looks really nice, actually. So you say you didn't play the first one, or?
Yeah, like I say, I hadn't actually heard of the franchise before this show. So it's cool that they're releasing like a remaster of the first with the second one. I guess maybe just hoping that people who pick up the second one look to check out the first one at the same time. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. The art style's nice. The fact it's a kind of a physics-based game seems quite cool as well. So definitely want to check out.
Nice. I think this is actually quite a solid show, in my opinion. But maybe we can do a little sort of. This is buffering like mad. I'm going to have to get a new PC. I'm going to have to join the 4090 crew. I think it's just the YouTube, actually, if I'm honest, because everything else is running weird. Okay, sorry. But yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, there was a Shovel Knight little reveal of a mini sort of game. Do you know much about that one, Luke, at all? The Shovel Knight one? Did you catch?
Yeah, it's just a puzzler. It's the pocket dungeon.
That's it. Yeah.
So it's a bit like Shovel Knight Tetris almost.
Yes. Does that catch you? Does that catch your eye for something interesting?
No.
No. No worries.
So, what I will say is the art style is terrific.
Yeah, I thought you liked
everything
Shovel
Knight.
Yeah.
I do. I love Shovel Knight. I love actual Shovel Knight, not Shovel Knight Tetris.
So you don't like spin-offs over in general, is it? Or
no, I like spin-offs. But just don't. If I wanted to play Tetris, I'd play Tetris. So I don't need it to be jazzed up with another IP. I can't say any Tetris like gets me really excited these days.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I thought it just might
Lovely
have a bit of the
art style,
charm that you might be interested
in.
But yeah.
It does. But it just has to have a bit more. So, like, if it was a spin-off of Shovel Knight in classic Shovel Knight format, that would be like the game of this showcase for me. Like, just automatically. Because I love that game. But yeah, if it's just Tetris, then I'll go and play Tetris.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. No worries, absolutely. So you did catch a little glimpse of it as well there. Of course, there was as well the DLC to Cult of the Lamb as well, guys. I don't know if you remember seeing that. I've played that actually already at WASD. Obviously, it's just a DLC, but to a very cool game. Obviously, Cult of the Lamb, very cool game indeed. Really nice to have some DLC. Lots being added into it. It should pop up on the screen in a second. There we go. So you're going to be diving back into this. I don't know if you guys have finished. Did you end up finishing Cult of the Lamb at all, or any of you guys, Scott or Luke?
No, it got lost to the backlog for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to go back to it.
Would this get you back involved, or?
It looked cool, but I don't know. I don't know really. I think it looked like a substantial update, which is good. But I don't know if it would be the thing that draws me back to a backlog game. Because often with the backlog games, it's just sort of, oh, I remember that game. That was actually really fun. I'm going to go back because I've got spare time to play it. But there's so many on the backlog now that it's really difficult to just pick one. But the update looked really cool, and it's a really good game, really really good. So I think actually it's probably better for new players coming to that game. I think if you go out and buy it now, or when the DLC comes out, you'll be getting like an even better version of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The original release, at least on Xbox, had some it was quite buggy and had some performance issues, which was a bit of a shame. I did complete it and really enjoyed it. I wasn't too big on the Animal Crossing element to it, if I'm being particularly honest, but I'm not that fan. I'm not a fan of that type of game. I think there's a lot of quality of life additions to this DLC as well, which sound pretty good. They've got like an endless mode, I think, or like a boss rush mode.
Yeah, that's right.
They've added, which sounds pretty good because like I say, that's kind of focusing on the main element of the game that I enjoyed. Probably not going to jump back in, mainly because I kind of feel done with that game. But I did think first of all, the art style continues to look just amazing. But yeah, I think I'm kind of done with Cult of the Lamb now. But I think really, really good, as Luke says, for anybody that's jumped into this for the first time. Is it free, the update as well, out of interest?
I think so.
Sure if I caught that.
I thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's pretty good because, as you said, there did seem to be a substantial amount of content, especially for a free update as well. So yeah, anybody checking that out for the first time is going to really enjoy that, I think.
Definitely, yeah. A lot of indie games you find they get that sort of free update, which is really nice. But yeah, no, I did end up finishing the main game. Really enjoyed it. So I definitely see where you're coming from the other stuff, and yeah, but I felt like the combat could have been fleshed out more, but they actually have added a bit of fleshing out to the combat in this update. I can't remember how they said they're doing that, but some more depth and different things they've done. I can't remember what it was now, if I'm honest, but yeah, it's a pretty comprehensive update, so it's cool to see. I don't know, like you say, I mean, I might jump back in just to see if there's any more like nice bosses to take down or anything, but the game was a great game, obviously one of the best of the year and stuff when it came out, and that was last year, wasn't it? Of course. And yeah, but it's good to see an update for it because it looks absolutely beautiful, and yeah, really cool game. So I'm sure many will be diving back into that. So anything else, guys, before we move away from the Xbox, the Indie World showcase? Anything else you wanted to mention about it, or games you wanted to talk about that you enjoyed?
I think we've covered the standout games from my perspective. Indy, anything else that stood out for you?
For me, sorry, yeah.
Anything else that we missed that stood out?
Let's mention a few last little ones. So one was Paper Trail, which was quite a cool sort of folding of paper to puzzle game sort of thing. That was actually at WASD as well, so that was cool to see that showing up on this. Let me bring that up just so you got a little visual aspect of what that is all about, although it's only a little tiny one. But yeah, that's that. You fold the different paper sort of sections of the screen to enable you to move across the screen and stuff like that. This sizzle reel is definitely doing me over right now, so I wish it was a bit bigger. But yeah, no, it's good to get the content in there. Let's just do that and that again. There we go. It should come up now.
Yeah, you can just see on that timeline towards the end there's like 5 or 6 games in like a centimeter of...
Yeah, so this one's Paper Trail here. So like I say, you fold different parts of it, enabling you to move across and make connections and stuff like that, which is quite a charming, nice little game. Like I say, it was at WASD. Other games, I think we've done a pretty good job of highlighting it. Like I say, Blasphemous was really cool. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is very cool. I think it was a good showcase. What did you think of it as a winding up? Your highlight one game, and then we'll move on to the next one. What was your one top pick, guys? Scotty, baby, what would you say for yours first?
Yeah, I think even though it was in there for just a very short period of time, definitely getting the release date of Bomb Rush Cyberpunk was the highlight for me.
Yeah.
Like I say, there's some good stuff in there. We've obviously covered a couple of the games. I think the only thing that kind of brings it down, but I also at the same time got to stress, obviously it's very subjective, is there was a lot of stuff that I just wasn't even remotely interested in. I think you're right, Indy. The very beginning of the show was a little bit weaker in that aspect. I think the first maybe 2, maybe 3 games, I can't remember exactly how many, kind of made me think, oh, is this going to be good? Then Play It Up came up, and I think I was like, okay, cool. There's going to be some good stuff there. So, but
Definitely.
it's still less than 20 minutes of your time to see some cool games, and like I said, Nintendo got the format nailed.
Absolutely. There was one other which actually that Animal Well looks quite interesting. I don't know if you remember that one. If it actually would go forward, that'd be nice. I don't always keep buffering. So while we wind this up, Animal Well looks quite interesting. We haven't showed that much, but it's been in development for a long time. I think this one, I don't know a lot about it, but it looks quite interesting. But as a whole for me, quite a good show. Not their best one for me either. They haven't been doing the One More Thing lately either. I don't know why that is. I wonder if it's because of Silksong.
I'm not a big fan with the way that they end those shows with the sizzle reel stuff. I just don't see the point in that. It's because it's incredibly anticlimactic.
Yeah, do you think they should bring back the One More Thing then?
Yeah, you don't even have to do the. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be like a reveal, like a big new thing, but just be like, one last game and it's X, and make it like a good one. Don't give me a sizzle reel, because I think that's to be honest a bit offensive to just kind of bow out and say, well, there we go, see ya.
Sizzle reels kind of belong in the middle of these types of shows, generally, don't they? And then you end with something a little bit bigger. I don't tend to, maybe and Indy, you might tell me off for this. I don't tend to have sort of expectations for that one big thing at the end of this show or these types of shows as well. If it was a big like Nintendo Direct or a PlayStation Showcase or Xbox Showcase, then I think there's more expectation for those one last thing to appear, and I think that really keeps people kind of engaged even through maybe the downtime within the show. Obviously that's one of the benefits of it being a smaller show, is you're not really just waiting for that one thing at the end. So
fair enough. I mean, you're right. I'm not going to tell you off, obviously, but I would disagree slightly with it, just because of the way you would package it from a marketing point of view, if you see what I mean. I'd like to keep people engaged. That's the only reason I would say it is quite nice to have something to, like you exactly said, it look forward to at the end, and they'll stay engaged. And
that's fair. I guess just with the length of the show, typically, I don't think it's quite as important. True. I think if you look at something like, if we were to compare, I know it's a very hard comparison, but if you compare this to, say, Keighley's Summer Games Fest,
sure.
Like, the only reason I generally watch that is because I'm hoping there's going to be something big at the end. It kind of keeps me watching throughout, the 2+ hours of, and a lot of times, in my opinion, just. I don't know, just bullshit, I think. Because these are shorter, I don't go into them with that expectation. I'm just waiting for the end. I'm just sort of taking in what's being shown at the time. And if there's something good at the end, wonderful. If not, that's fine as well.
Yep, no, that makes a lot of sense, definitely. Obviously, we don't need to mention it, but the Silksong hysteria is definitely a full-time
2024, indeed. 2024, we're thinking.
I mean, I've been talking a little bit in the sense of 2024 maybe is more potentially what we're looking at now. Well, the reason I say that is because, I mean, loads of people were saying, Xbox said it was June, that that's going to be, obviously the last year they did a 12-month thing, obviously, and then it was part of that. But the thing is, Xbox said that, didn't they? So if Team Cherry had said this is going to be out in 12 months, then I would have believed them, really. But it's Xbox saying that as part of their Xbox Showcase, which they've already made mistakes on other games as well. I don't think it's trustworthy.
I imagine Xbox couldn't have included Silksong in that showcase without having at least discussed it with Team Cherry.
They
could say, look, we're going to do a showcase the next 12 months. How are you feeling about that?
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
But with everything, I thought we spoke about it at the time. I think it might have been a GPG show. Actually, I think it was actually on Boxenberger's show afterwards. It was such a stupid idea because you could have guessed at the time 75% of the games that they showed probably weren't going to hit when they said they would. And they've kind of looked a little silly, especially with the announcement of, say, Starfield and things like that. Things change. A year is a long time in gaming, so it was a bit silly of them to do that.
I think that I mean, we're slightly off tangent here, but that format, they should never do that format ever again, because it hasn't worked, because barely any of the stuff has come out in the actual intended time frame. and it just kind of deflates your hype for the future. Sell me on. I don't need to be sold on things that are coming in the 12 months, even though they're not coming in the 12 months most of the time. I need to be sold on kind of the platform, things further down the roadmap, get excited because this is coming at some point. And then if you're not even going to do the bare minimum, which isn't their fault as such, they can't control some of these games, but then don't put them in a 12-month window.
Yes, definitely.
As an advertisement, basically, don't do that. So I think completely stupid format.
Yeah,
massive blunder.
Definitely.
And it was just weird. Like Silk Songs. I always thought that one was a kind of a weird game to show there, because even more so than some of the other games, like Team Cherry have always been ones to take their time. And Scott's right in that they definitely would have been consulted about it. But I guess if you're Team Cherry, like what do you say in that scenario?
Exactly.
If Xbox come up to you and go, we're going to put you on our showcase, give you like right near the front when we got the most viewers. Do you think this game could be out in 12 months? You're not going to be like, you know what? No.
Exactly.
So better put some other game in there. You're going to be like, yeah,
definitely.
Put our game in there. Put our game in there. Like, it's coming on Game Pass. It's a great promotion.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a bit of a kind of silly inducement, but one that they were always going to take, even if they were never going to hit the window, which I don't think they are. So
yeah, exactly. I would totally agree with that. And you're just going to take it on. You're like, I think it is a lot down to Xbox. Just try. As well, I think they've noticed the hype probably as well for Silk Song, so they were thinking that's going to be quite a nice bit of hype for our show as well. It's not just Xbox trying to push up an indie game. I think they are thinking that's a good bit of hype. We could use that as well.
Yeah, it was a pretty good announcement. Getting Silk Song day and day in Game Pass.
Yeah.
And, at the time, coming in the next 12 months, I think that was a bloody good announcement for them. I think you spoke about it afterwards, Indy, as well. I remember at the time, like, when you look back at the trailers of the show, I'm pretty sure it was the most viewed out of pretty much everything there. It might have actually been definitely the most viewed trailer. Yeah, so obviously it showed that it generated some excitement.
Definitely.
But just that format has kind of bitten them on the arse, and we said it at the time, and in fact it's probably turned out worse than I even expected at that time. I kind of thought, look, a lot of these games are going to miss, but I didn't expect the games to miss in the way that they did. And something like Silk Song, it hasn't showed up at either of these indie showcases. I don't think, has it showed up since June of last year, Indy, or was that the last time we saw it?
No, I don't think so.
Last time, wasn't it?
Yeah, last time.
Yeah. That was the last one,
yeah.
If I'm honest, I'm a little. Do I want to say that? I was going to say I'm a little surprised that, because I'm pretty sure they originally revealed it did they reveal it at an Indie World? And then
it was at the 2019 E3 Treehouse, Nintendo Treehouse. So, and this is another thing. This is another reason why. I said this on Twitter the other day. The reason I'm not thinking, obviously, anything is basically 2019, they said coming soon from Nintendo. Everyone knows about this. If you follow Silk Song, you know about that. And then obviously that didn't happen in 2019. And then Xbox come along and they're like, they're putting it on their showcase and they're the ones who announced it. I know they probably say they consulted it, but I think what would have happened is, just like you say, they would have asked them and they can't turn that down really. So it's kind of like, just go with it and we'll see what happens. But I think that's why I don't really think it's going to be anything to go by the 12-month window really anymore. So, but I'm fine with it. I don't mind. I want them to make the best game possible. We've got so many games anyway, like I keep saying. It's a great time, amazing time for games. And this game, whenever it comes along, Christmas Day, whatever it is, it's going to take over, you know what I mean? It's going to be the new Christmas instead of Christmas. So, it's
just building the hype, building the anticipation. But I think they've kind of got to stay quiet now until they've got a release date.
I think that's what they're doing, really. I think they're just getting done. But the thing is as well, they've talked about, we've sort of sidetracked a little bit, but it's cool. They've talked about I think there's a voice actor doing Hornet or something, and they've done all of their lines and everything, so that was quite a little while ago actually. There is some speculation that they are coming to very close to the end and stuff, but who knows? Hey, it's not like a fully voiced game. It is actually voiced, but it's not in the conventional sense, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see, I guess. But yes, I do not want to leave that hanging around in the chat any longer, because a legend has graced us with a very kind gesture. Mr. Domez. Let's see. I'm looking at the right stream on. I just can't believe it sometimes. That is right, isn't it? I'm seeing that Mr. Domez in the chat. Yeah. Cool. I was wondering if I got the wrong one then. Mr. Domez, you're a legend. Thank you so much for that very kind gesture and the very kind words as well, which say you popped up on suggestions when you talked about Silksong like ages ago, but subbed and discovered many other indie games through this channel. Keep up the good work. Cheers from Switzerland. Thank you so much for those kind words. That really does mean everything to hear that you've been discovering indie games, because that is literally what this channel is all about. And thank you so much for the kind super chat as well. It's awesome to have people like you who, can just get out the indie goodness from the channel. We can share in the indie goodness. That's what it's all about, like I say. So thank you so much for being here, and yeah, you're awesome. So yes, guys, let us know in the chat, just for fun, what's your thinking about Silksong at the moment. Are you thinking 2023? Are you thinking 2024? Are you thinking 2025? if you're thinking 2025, oof, I will cry. But yes, I think we should move on now. So the Indie World, good show for me. I think we're all in agreement it was a good show, but it wasn't their best show, and that's can't always be their best one. When Silksong comes, it'll be the best one, even if they just do Silksong, obviously. But yeah, it's good stuff. Good format. And I think we're all in agreement on that as well. I think we'll probably dive back and forth anyway when we move on to our next topic, which is going to be the Indie. Well, I keep doing the wrong way around some reason today. It's going to be the Idea Xbox showcase, and we have got a very capable lead for this topic, and that is my man Scott, who's going to take the lead on the Idea Xbox showcase topic. So I'll hand it over to you, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely, Indy. Thank you very much, mate. So we had the Idea Xbox stream a couple of weeks ago now. It's, I guess, an evolution of the Twitch Idea Xbox stream, although this was also a Twitch stream, but it has developed a little bit since then, thankfully. We mentioned it earlier on. We were there in the dark old days of the 3 to 4 hour streams. With very uninterested Twitch streamers taking part, unfortunately. So they have come a long way, but I think the format is something that I did want to touch on before we touch on any of the games.
Cool.
I think much better, cut down, but still not great. Unfortunately, it was still an hour long. We said it earlier, for less games than the Indie World Direct, which is, I think for these types of shows, they just need to cut out the chit chat. I think ultimately that's what they need to do. They need to focus more on the games and less on the presenters. So but yeah, before we touch on any of the games, Indy, did you check out the show yourself?
I didn't check it out at the time, but I did check it out on the catch up, a bit like you guys. Excuse me. But yeah, no. Format wise, couldn't agree more. For me, it's actually really disappointing in a way, because they say they're coming back with this new format on Twitter, didn't they? Oh, I was like, yes, come on, guys, let's do this. You know what I mean? It's like, finally, it's time. And then it's like, I suppose it has shortened, but it feels like it's shortened and it hasn't really benefited it. It's just shortened, and it's, like I said, it was like 11 games or something. Yeah, it was 11 games. I counted it, which is ridiculous, versus the Indie World was 21, as I say earlier. But there's a lot of
shortened,
chat.
but it's still an hour.
It's still an hour. But for 11 games,
it's ridiculous that that's a short show, you know. So
exactly, we've done more than 11 games for sure already. Like, you know what I mean? I know we're not really a good comparison to make, mind you, because we're quite drawn out. But we're different. We're a podcast, and it's Anyway, let's get back to the topic. I don't want to take the heat off us. But yeah,
I will give them I guess a little bit of credit that, like I said, I did think it was vastly improved from the previous format. I thought the hosts were obviously a little bit more invested. I think they must have been part of the ID at Xbox team, or part of Xbox, I believe. So that is miles away from the Twitch streamers, who in a lot of cases just obviously didn't have any knowledge about what they were talking about in a lot of cases. But ultimately, it's still far too long. There's still far too much talking and interacting with chat and things like that. And I think, I mentioned it when we talked about the Indie World. at best it was 20, or sorry, worst it was 20 minutes less if you watch it a little bit faster like I do. And worst case is, you've given up 15, 20 minutes of your life. Even if there wasn't a single thing that interested you throughout that indie world, 15, 20 minutes. But I think an hour-long show, I just struggle to see how they get the traction on these shows that justifies the length and the format when they could be doing something with far better production value, better edited, much shorter, much more concise, and ultimately, therefore, in my opinion, a lot more interesting.
Absolutely. I'm just like getting the stream up on here so people can watch, and I'm just struggling to find games. And all I can I've got 10 minutes of talking here. It's just
that's the worst part, Indy. So we spoke about it, I think, in the green room beforehand. I really want to highlight this. So first of all, well, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but it's obviously they've got some sort of agreement with Twitch for these, because it wasn't streamed on YouTube at the same time. The VOD isn't even on YouTube.
Yes, exactly.
After the fact. So I went to rewatch it yesterday ahead of the show just to, refresh my memory. I did miss like 5-10 minutes of start. I obviously missed absolutely nothing other than talking, but I didn't know that at the time. And just going back and watching the VOD on Twitch is just such a worse experience compared to YouTube. There's no time stamps. There's no way of kind of scrubbing through the video to find, the bits that you want to miss or anything. So they need to ditch Twitch completely for these types of events. Obviously stream them on Twitch if you want to, but there must be some sort of agreement that they must have with Twitch that means they've got to exclusively show this on Twitch, which I think is just I think hinders the entire experience and probably hinders the reach of the show as well. I very rarely watch things on Twitch. I know a lot of people do, but YouTube, I think, in my opinion, is just a much better experience.
I mean, it's just ridiculous because like when searching to put this show together, obviously like we've all done, and it's like like you go to the Indie World one, it's on YouTube. By the way, one point to make as well, just quickly, if I forgot to mention earlier, but that Indie World showcase that we were just watching back, it's got over 1 million views, and that's the usual path, of course. It's always got loads of views, so Xbox need to take note of that. Like I say, over 1 million views on just a 20-minute showcase that they've done on indie games. Pretty good. And that's just the Nintendo America version of it. So if you add up the UK one and all the other places around the world, then you'd get even more than that. But I mean, I'm quite surprised actually that the idea Xbox showcase on Twitch has got about, I think it's got 200k or so, 200,000. So I was actually surprised that it actually had that many, to be honest with you. But clearly, take note. We've done this so many times. Take note of Nintendo. They haven't really taken note, in my opinion. They've just done the same, and they've drawn out the actual conversation. I think the quality of the games, I dare say, wasn't that great either. I'm sorry to say, indie games, who are you making games out there, and I know you're trying to get out there, but didn't really feel that. There was some amazing standouts, which I will say in a mo. But there was a lot which didn't really interest me. Generic. It's terrible to say, but this karting one that's on the screen right now, it's obviously just, I mean, it looks fun, but it's just generic, isn't it, really?
It's just a Mario Kart clone. But hold that thought, Indy. I do want to get Luke's thoughts on the actual show itself before we talk about the game. So Luke, did you have a chance to check out the show? Did you have any thoughts on kind of the overall presentation or format?
So I didn't watch it start to finish, because I vowed to never watch one of these Idea Xbox Twitch shows from start to finish ever again since the first one. I did flick through it, just went through it on the VOD on Twitch, and it was still terrible, even doing that. So and that was me getting through it in about 10 minutes. So just garbage format. It's just not good. It's just, I don't like, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for that sort. Nobody tunes in to these sorts of things to have lengthy chat interaction kind of being played out across the screen, or even lengthy dev interviews. I know that's kind of crappy to say, but like, people don't tune in for that. If you want to do that, that's fine. Do it on a different type of showcase. Do it on a game by game basis. I know why they don't do those things, but it just doesn't work. And as you say, Scott, it must be that they have an agreement with Twitch to do this, which is fine, I guess. But they shouldn't. Whenever that deal is up, whenever that ends, they should not be doing this ever again.
No.
Because it's crap. It's just crap. It's just boring. The content isn't brilliant. Right? I mean, if it's blockbuster games in an indie sense, wall to wall, fair enough. This wasn't. Yeah. I genuinely, I don't have any positives about it, which is rare.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean it's a shame. I mean, Blizzmo's just said in the chat that I think Xbox should take the Nintendo Direct format, fast paced, minimal talking. Yeah, we've been saying that for years. Or whenever they start these Twitch shows, we've been saying that you've got a format that you can follow. Just do that. Yeah, and it just seems bizarre. Like I say, I can only assume there's some sort of agreement because the traction on these shows just can't be great. Surely, I'm not too sure. Obviously, they may look at the data and go, "Oh yeah, look, this is doing what we want." But I mean, not even having it up on YouTube after the fact, I mean, that in itself surely is hurting the reach of the show and the games that they're showing. Whether you like the games or not, you know, the developers are involved in these because they want to showcase their games to as big an audience as possible to get people interested. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Still got a lot more work to do. As much as said it was vastly improved, I think that's just a testament to how poor the original format is. That this was such an improvement. So definitely. Yeah, we'll see what the next show brings. Hopefully they'll learn again. I mean, because they have at least shown that they've adapted since then. So hopefully with a few more shows they'll cut it down further. They'll maybe be a little bit more like Nintendo. We'll just have to see. But obviously, it was about the games. I did think there was a couple of cool games there. Look, it didn't sound like you were too hot on the games that were shown in this one either. But so Indy, I'll start with you, mate. Did you have any games that stood out from the ID Xbox showcase?
Yeah, there were. I mean, you probably know one of them. Which is definitely a flagship game for this, which was Last Case of Benedict Fox. Which I mean. Maybe I'll go into that later on, save that for the new releases section. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal game. There was one other one, though, which is definitely a surprise game, which came out of nowhere. I don't know if you might have missed it just because of the actual showcase being that bad. That's the problem with a bad format. It can ruin your attention span to miss a good game, maybe. But one game in there, which was phenomenal. It's, I think, anyway. And let me just bring it up on the screen so you can also, in case you did miss it. And that was a game called The Explorator, I think that's how it's pronounced.
I didn't know how to pronounce that. I was like, is it Explorator? Or
I think, I'm going to go, I'll probably say Explorator. I don't know, maybe Explorator. Yeah, it could be either way, actually. but I'll stick with Explorator for now. But yeah, it's just beautiful art style and really surprising as well. Like, I mean, just stunningly done, but then it just catches you off guard with just something completely unique. And so, like, with the first person shooter aspect that comes out of nowhere, this game actually really reminds me art direction wise of that Plucky Squire. I don't know if you're getting that at all with some of the animations.
I see kind of more like a 2D version of it. I know it's
the 2D and the 3D mixing together, and there's some of the animations and drawings which look a bit similar the way they're done. I think not all of it. It's just not the environment so much, more the characters. I think it is the animations of those. There's something similar about the process they're using, I think. But just stunning though. I don't know if any of you guys caught this. Did you see this one when it was being shown off?
Yeah, I think it was actually probably outside of The Last Case of Benedict Fox. It was probably the standout of the show. As you said, Indy, it was genuinely surprising. Like, the introduction made it seem like something completely different to what it actually was, and I thought it was probably the standout highlight of the show.
I would agree with that because Benedict Fox is obviously, that's awesome anyway kind of thing. This is a new thing to you kind of thing. That's the case for me anyway. Just awesome. And like, just the mix of like this sort of really idyllic kind of beautiful world, then it's got these cool little characters that burst out of nowhere, and you're basically Doom / I don't know, some sort of whimsical world, isn't it? Like, it's just like wowzers. I just think it looks amazing, and I think it's so unique and beautifully realized, and I'm really up for it actually. Did you catch this one, Luke? Just out of interest.
Yeah, I did. I'm not quite as hot on it.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's so I think I really admire what it's trying to do, because it is a super unique concept. So full marks for that. But I think there are two problems. One, the little gameplay element, I quote unquote gameplay, didn't look like real gameplay to me. The way that the gun animation moves and the camera swings looks like it was something that was baked. So I don't think we've seen actual gameplay. I think we've seen, almost like a concept of what they want gameplay to look like. So I'm a bit kind of hesitant to say, oh yeah, that looks really cool in motion, when I don't think that that's what that was. And then I'm not hot at all on the art style, actually.
Really?
Again, appreciate what they're trying to do, but I think the problem is, for me, that they're trying to blend almost two different art styles. You've got this kind of fantasy cartoon-esque 2D, and then they're almost going for like hyper realism for the 3D environments, which is like Horizon Forbidden West style. That's kind of hyper real. So very lush 3D environments, and I don't think it looks good at all. I don't think it blends at all. I think if everything is one, if you got 3D art that's equivalent aesthetically to the 2D art that they're going for, I think that would have worked. But when they cut out, for example, there's that bit of the trailer that's in the forest, or like in the an overgrowth or wherever it is, that looks really good because it all looks kind of artistically coherent. And then there's bits later on where they're in like, I don't know, like this industrial environment. I think it looks like crap. Like it doesn't look.
It's interesting that you mentioned that. I thought that was pretty good. Look, when they're kind of in like the town / city area.
I mean, it's art, so like it's again, it's super subjective, that stuff.
Yeah,
but like it depends on how it melds to your own eyes. It just doesn't look good for me. So like I said, I really like the concept. I don't want to be too down on the game because I'm like they're genuinely trying to do something pretty new here, which I think is cool. But I just didn't look great to me. But I'll reserve like full judgment. Let's see what it looks like when I can actually see someone playing the game, because it might change my mind completely. But I just, I didn't think that was quote unquote real gameplay. I'm also like, I don't know how that's going to work when you're playing the game. Do you know what I mean? Like how the kind of acuity of that when you're trying to shoot things, I don't know how well that's going to gel. It may be fine, but because we only saw very small glimpses of what they intend the gameplay to be, I think it's a bit difficult to see, how that's going to look when you're actually there with a controller or keyboard and mouse or whatever. So,
yeah, I mean, there wasn't a date given for this. Exactly, I don't think not even a year. So for all we know, it could be somewhere. It's interesting, Luke, that you mentioned about how it maybe looks baked or maybe not real gameplay. I did almost get like a little bit of GoldenEye vibes. Does that make sense?
The swingy movement.
From that movement, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, as you say, things like art style and things like that are very subjective. Like I say, it was a highlight for me just because of how unique and surprising it was for, especially for a show like this, which was generally quite boring. I think this really stood out, especially against everything else that was shown. Yeah, the environment that's just come up there where it was very industrial. To me, actually, I thought it looked pretty good, but I get what you're saying, man.
I think it looked all really good, actually, to be honest. And obviously, you can't expect the game to be running in engine. Like, no, most trailers are they, until they're like really at the end, anyways. So, you know what I mean?
No, and I think that's fair. But then don't. And I'm not like, I could be completely wrong, by the way. Everything that they could have shown from a first-person perspective could have been entirely in-game. Look at that indie game that's kind of blown up on Twitter. Or, I can't even remember what it's called now, but the first-person body cam game. You just see that. You see that, and you're like, "There's no way that's gameplay." And then the guy goes into an editor, and like plays around with it and shows you exactly, and and you're like, "Wow, that's incredible."
Yeah.
So it could well be one like this where it looks so smooth in motion in terms of the way that the gun sway works, etc., and the way that the camera moves, that it just looks baked to me, but it could be real, proper real gameplay, in which case that's awesome. But
I mean, all when they do when they bake it is basically just they're freezing moments before it's able to stand without stabilizers, essentially, aren't they? So I think it's just through optimization. Would you agree? Is that an accurate statement? You know what I mean? They're baking at that point before they've cut out all of the issues that could potentially make it run not smooth and stuff like that. Would that be?
Yeah. Well, no. I think the problem I'm having with it is. What's a good game to compare it to? It's quite difficult, actually, but
I'd be surprised if you picked one out.
Yeah, when you sometimes in the far distant past, it doesn't happen as much these days. Oh, I'll tell you what it did happen on, which I can compare it to: Witchfire. So the first trailer, if you go and watch the first trailer for Witchfire, it is like a concept of what they wanted Witchfire to look like. And it's from a first-person perspective, as if someone is playing the game, but it's not gameplay, right?
That was a pretty good trailer, that, though.
Yeah, it was a great trailer. It's not gameplay. Now, the final product, in terms of the way movement works and the way the camera works and, the first-person perspective, isn't a million miles away from that. But it's nowhere near as smooth or anything like that. It's like you might as well think of the first trailer of that game as like a CG trailer intended to convey, like a classic historic example, the first Killzone 2 trailer, right? Yeah. Which, obviously for various reasons they said were gameplay and it wasn't. But it was intended to convey mood and atmosphere and art and the intention of the game. And it was tried to pass itself off as real gameplay. That's the feeling I get from this one. I could be completely wrong, and it could be very real gameplay, the bits. But there are, if you look at there's movements when the guy runs through the forest with his shotgun, for example, and he does a swivel and then he points at something. That just doesn't look real. That doesn't look like how that would look if I was controlling it. So that's the bit I don't like. Could be wrong, but I just don't think it is. I think in the real game it will look more like an actual first person shooter. Does that make sense? Like it will look like someone's controlling it.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. Look, I guess we'll just have to wait and see when we see a little bit more. I think for a first reveal, from my perspective, I think it looked pretty good. It will be interesting if they can get it to play as well as it looks. I guess from my perspective, no release date, as we said, though, so it could still be a long way off at this point, actually, and that's kind of something that I've noticed a bit more recently. Indy, I don't know if you've got any thoughts on this. Actually, is I think indie games traditionally have a shorter release or sort of reveal to release window. I do seem to have noticed a lot more recently that games kind of being shown more than a year out. Even in the Nintendo sure there was a couple in there. The games didn't really interest me, but there was some there with 2024 release dates in there, which I always find a little unusual or becoming a little bit more common actually these days for indie shows.
Oh, right, so you're saying they were getting a bit more common to do indie release dates ahead of time, sort of thing?
Yeah, well,
did it have 24? Did it actually have a date though for 2024, or did it just have 24
as a window? No, just 2024.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I think that's a common thing. I mean, like Earthblade's got 2024, things like that. I think that's just a target year, and it might not even stay that. That's just what they're aiming at as a studio, I would say, as a general kind of window. You know what I mean? I think that's probably a common thing. But yeah, then they'll close that down when it gets closer to the time, obviously, and then gradually until the last minute. That's the most common way. And the best way, because you don't want to put a release date until you're not ready, and then you've put yourself under pressure. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then you end up putting it out not done, like with a certain AAA game, the Xbox Variety that's coming out soon, but I won't go into that.
It's another show. It's a spin-off indie show, the AAA segment.
Yeah, exactly. So. That's a common AAA problem though, isn't it? Like that's the good thing about indie devs is they tend to, as much, I mean, obviously it happens sometimes where they'll just want to get some money back on their hard work, but at the same time, I think most of them want to just make the best game possible and then wait as long as that takes and then release it. But like I say, there's still obviously inner pressures they put on themselves, probably just because they want to get that out and get some money back. But I think they're more likely to just wait and then set the release date maybe 3 months off or whatever, or 2, or maybe even 1 month off. Yeah, but do you think it might have increased that they setting dates ahead of time now than you do, or would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder if there's any sort of pressures that come from marketing deals. You know, we talk about something like Silksong. Is there any sort of pressure that comes from that agreement to have the game on Game Pass, which inevitably comes with, I imagine, a fairly sizable lump sum up front for Team Cherry to really commit to a date that maybe they're not too comfortable with, but kind of the business side of it kind of almost dictates that they have to.
It would be the publisher, if anything. I think they ever would come with that sort of thing going on. I don't think Team Cherry would even allow that to happen. I know we've sort of seen it a little bit with the Xbox 12-month thing, but I don't think that's obviously quite a loose thing. But yeah, in general, I think, you know, most indie devs would, you know, go against that. They wouldn't want to be pressured into a time, I would say. But, you know, sometimes like when they are with publishers or whatever, they might want to set a date a little bit further ahead. So yeah, there is that. But they, you know, then at the end of the day, they want to make the best game possible. So yeah, the pressures are there though, I guess, with publishers a little bit more.
Yeah. But in terms of other games, I think one that stood out to me, I'm not too sure if any of you guys have played Windjammers.
Oh, that I don't remember seeing that actually.
It was Omega Strikers. It was near the beginning. I think it was like the second game that they showed. It was like a 3v3. Yeah. Kind of give me Windjammers vibe.
Oh, sorry, Windjammers. I thought you were saying there's Windjammers there. Sorry.
Oh no, sorry. Omega Strikers is kind of
cool.
reminded me a little bit of
definitely
of Windjammers. I thought this looked really cool. I was a big fan of Windjammers. For anyone who hasn't played, it's kind of like a 1v1 air hockey game. It's actually pretty cool. I think the second one is still on Game Pass at the moment if anyone's interested. But yeah, there's Omega Strikers. It's kind of in that in that ballpark 3v3, which I think adds a more interesting element. You've got characters who have different abilities. I actually thought this looked pretty good. It's free to play as well, so it's gonna be interesting to see how that one lands.
Definitely, yeah. No, that's cool. That's you like a bit of multiplayer, don't you? So yeah, that's a good show.
I love a bit of multiplayer, man.
Yeah, nice. I did actually think that would look quite good as well, actually. So good shout.
It's out next week as well, actually. April 27th. I believe they put a date on that. I think it's at least also available on Steam, so at least PC and Xbox. So yeah, I think that's interesting. Definitely going to check that one, especially with it being free to play. You know, it's one that anyone can just jump in, give it a little bit of a shot. So
brilliant. Fantastic. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, sorry, I nearly took over then. You carry on.
That's all right. Well, I was going to ask you, was there any other? I mean, there was only 11 games, so you know we've already covered.
Yeah. I mean,
did anything else stand up for yourself, Indy?
I'll be honest. This is the thing I was going to ask actually a second ago. It's just like the quality of. I hate talking about quality of games because I don't want to ever put down any indie developers, but I don't know. I just felt like in general maybe it's like because it's subjective and I wasn't really that interested in stuff. Again, maybe that's a safer route to go because I don't want to diss any creative people out there. But I didn't feel like the quality in general was there on this showcase anyway. The thing is, right, we have to be a bit more. We can be more ruthless with our taste these days because there are so many games, and that's a great thing because that makes the quality better, obviously, because obviously there will be ones that are in the lower bracket, but it raises the game as competition. Everyone wants to be the best and stuff. So yeah, it means that we can then pick and choose a bit more as well, and we'll get that real, you know, cream of the crop and stuff like that, a la sort of Benedict Fox and stuff, in my opinion. Hopefully, anyway, when it releases, it won't be a mess. But I'm basing that on the demo, of course. But yeah, like, you know what I'm saying, those kind of things. So I just feel like there's so many games on my wish list. I know that's my wish list, personal wish list, but when you kind of look through that, I think, my God, there's so many games that could have been shown off. You know what I mean? It's just that. And then you've got sort of bland sort of showcase of games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I guess not every showcase can be, you know, 10 out of 10. Not every game's going to be for everyone. I think, you know, I don't think you're sitting here, Indy, saying, oh, you know, these games were all crap. I think you can call the showcase crap.
Definitely
but in terms of the actual games, I guess it's more just, the games weren't for me. They weren't to my taste. Like, there's a few on there, you know, that I think a lot of people were. I think one that stood out was like Homestead Arcana. which people seem pretty excited for. And I thought that game looked boring as hell. It's
yeah. Was that the farming one?
Yeah. They're just not for me. I think there's a little bit of hype around that because I think it just come out and it's on Game Pass as well, which I think gets a little bit of excitement going for people as well.
Yeah, that one I can see if you're into that stuff, that would be pretty cool one. But yeah, again, I'm the same as you. I'm not really a massive farming sim kind of guy.
Yeah, and there's so many of them as well, man. There are so many of those farming type games. I think there was a couple in the Nintendo Indie World Showcase as well. So yeah, not for me. Luke, was there anything at all that took your fancy that you want to touch on? Are you looking forward to the last case of Benedict Fox-Smith at the very least?
Yes, yeah, I am looking forward to that. Yeah, that would be a true dark side turn if I said no to that one. But I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
You'll be on the subs bench.
Yeah. But then again, like, did we need it there? Probably not.
I think the one thing I would say on that, Luke, actually, Indie kind of beat ID at Xbox to the punch, because I think one of the things I thought was good about this is at least it was kind of a combat trailer, so they kind of showed you exactly how the combat worked. The only thing is because the Steam demo came out a few weeks ago and I'd already watched Indie play the game, I kind of already knew how the combat worked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So apart from that, no, nothing really grabbed me.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. As I said, I mean, there was only 11 games over the course of the hour. You would like to think that maybe they would have a couple of things for people, but if you're going to have so few games in such a big space, you kind of run that risk. I'll just quickly run through a few things that we haven't touched on to see if it kind of refreshes anyone's memory. But we had Cassette Beasts, which is kind of like a Pokemon style game. It's got a little bit Persona in there where you can kind of fuse monsters. That's coming out next week as well. The Carters, which we touched on at the beginning, very much a Mario Kart clone. We had Coffee Talk 2, which I've just started Coffee Talk 1. That's episode 2's already out. It's kind of like it's got an interesting art style. I'm not too big on the character designs, but it's I've enjoyed just making hot chocolate and coffee and different types of tea when I've been watching TV and stuff. So I'm actually interested in checking that one out. We had Homestead Arcana. Like I said, not a big fan of the farming games, and there's a lot of them. Closer the Distance, which seemed unbelievably sad, is probably the one that I've got my notes here, and I've just got sad as kind of my descriptor for that. And then the Little Guardsman, which I really wasn't a fan of the art style of that either. Cabaret, I think, was the same. I think it was kind of like a visual novel. And then they kind of ended, we talked about the indie world ending on the sizzle reel, and ID at Xbox Show decided to end on an interview with the developers behind Vampire Survivors. I think they were showing off parts of the new DLC, which I think is pretty cool. I think we're all a big fan of Vampire Survivors on the show, aren't we?
I am. I don't know about Andy, actually.
Yeah, it's funny one with that, actually, because I feel like I'm not as much
biggest the biggest indie game of the year, and
there's too much hype around it. I've taken a reaction to it.
It's not indie enough now for you, isn't it?
It's too overhyped, and now it's ruined me. No. To be honest with you, it's, if I just took that all away, the game itself I don't find as compelling as some people, and I think it's because I like to do the combat part of it. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, that's the best part, mate. It's just
that you don't have to do it.
It's almost
it's like a video.
You can drink coffee in the other hand and just do one-handed. Yeah,
fantastic. It's deceptively engaging.
I think
it's the best way.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
Oh, I know what you said. I've played a fair bit of it, and it is, and I do get the leveling up is very. It gets you on the hook, but I prefer to do the combat as well as that part, if you know, like in other roguelikes.
There have been times, Indy, where I've literally just not touched it for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like if you get into if you get a really good run, you can just kind of sit still.
What's going on there?
And watch the numbers go up.
Everyone just wants to be sedate and enjoy their games, not by touching it nowadays.
That's the future. That's where we're going.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's automated for you in gaming now. You just have to watch. No, I do get it though.
The movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's DLC for that though, isn't there? Yeah. So how's that looking to you guys?
Yeah, I mean,
that's good.
yeah, I thought it looked good. I mean, the new weapons, new characters. I have bought it, but I mean, it's only like $1.99 or something. So it's the cheapest of cheap games you can get. I've not actually tried the new DLC, but it was good to see a little bit more about it. The one thing I'd say about that segment is it was just too long. I think overall, I don't necessarily mind hearing from developers during this show, but you know, the indie world, we heard from the developers, they were able to say their piece. We didn't have to sit and listen. It was probably like 15 minutes, or maybe it just felt that long. But I just thought it was way too drawn out. I think there's no harm in doing those styles, but I think there should be something different, something a little bit separate from a showcase. And it kind of just ended it on, that's in the same way that we said about the indie world direct. It was just a disappointing way to end it. Not that I necessarily had an expectation of one big thing, but I think they were just trying to ride that Vampire Survivors hype into the show, and that's why they kept it at the end.
I was just about to say as well, I don't think we need like a big focus on Vampire Survivors. Like, surely the focus should be on, you know, other games that aren't as, you know, a phenomenon as Vampire Survivors. Like, it doesn't need any help. It's gonna, the DLC for it's gonna do extremely well anyway. And to be honest, it's kind of laughable that it's, you know, the highlight of an ID Xbox show, considering it's really a PC phenomenon, not a console
100%.
phenomenon. It was just a bit of a wet fart at the end.
They did win a BAFTA though. Did you know
that? They won Game of the Year, didn't they?
Yeah, they had the BAFTA at WASD, by the way. They brought the BAFTA.
Did
Tracy,
they? Nice, yeah. I mean, the BAFTAs for that, I love the BAFTAs because they tend to give it to, you know, they tend to award the much more kind of critic heavy, you know, kind of games like Returnal won Game of the Year that year, you know, fully deserved in my opinion. But this year I was really surprised that, you know, Ragnarok and Elden Ring in particular, those two massive games, the Vampire Survivors won it, because even though it's a phenomenal game, does it I don't know, I don't it's perhaps a conversation for another time, but like it didn't seem to me like it was like, oh, this is clearly Game of the Year, you know. But well, whatever.
So Vampire Survivors,
the funny thing about that, sorry, go on, Indy.
That's right. I was just gonna say, were you referring to Vampire Survivors you didn't think it was a Game of the Year, or should
I don't think it was Game of the Year. I thought it was a phenomenal game, and you know, like it's just a phenomenon, but you know, you did, it's up against, you know, conceivably some of the best games ever made. So it was just a bit of a strange one, but fair play to them, because I think it's an incredible achievement to win that award.
Yes, exactly. Sorry, Scott.
I was just going to say that the funny thing about the awards, I don't know if you guys saw this, but obviously the it won Game of the Year, but it didn't win British Game of the Year.
Really?
Despite,
which
I thought I actually want to check what did actually get British Game of the year. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I'll see if I can pick it up, and I'll bring it up. But it's good that they got it. But at the same time, I did think it was weird. Where the bloody hell is it? Roller Drum got British Game. But it was in the same category as the Game of the Year. So I wonder if it's just because it's obviously the BAFTAs are voted very differently from something like the Game Awards, for example. I wonder if it's just they kind of wanted to give Roller Drum it, knowing that maybe Vampire Survivors was getting Game of the Year. I'm not too sure, but just interesting. It was the best game, just not the best British game. So
I see what you mean. Yeah, so I mean, it's Roller Drum is on Thingy Bob at the moment, isn't it? What am I call it? My gosh, my brain. Humble Bundle, isn't it, for the rest of this month? Great
game.
I will be getting that, actually. I've got my Humble Bundle. I did have it on Frozen for the last few months, but I think I'll pick that one up.
Yes, it's not in one of the it's on the monthly
it's on the
subscription
choice, yeah.
bundle, isn't it?
Yeah, the normal Humble Bundle thing. There's a few games on there actually. I think that were half decent. This month.
I think Luke's favorite, Death Stranding, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Part of this month as well.
Yeah, it's quite a good little bundle. They've had a few bad ones, but I guess it's all subjective once again, isn't it? Exactly. Which month is going to be good for you? But yeah, no, idea Xbox Day for me is definitely they need to sort it out. They need to tighten it all up, make it into an edited showcase, and get some more decent games in there. I'm going to be completely brutally honest there, because I think they've got loads of games they could be featuring that are on the way. Cocoon and things. I know that doesn't probably need as much attention, I suppose, but you know what I mean. Just there are loads of games that are on the way. That's already had a showcase on on the big showcase and things, but there's just so many games that could be being shown off, and if I pulled up my spreadsheet I would reel off a million. But just frustrating. I've got like nearly 300 games on my Steam wish list now. Granted, about a third of them are probably games that are already out now, but you know what I mean, there's just so many. Come on, guys.
I think they've got a little bit of a, I don't know if I would describe it as I don't know if maybe ID Xbox has like a bit of a almost identity crisis. I know that's not the right way to put it. My thinking is I think Xbox are actually really, really good at highlighting indie games. They often feature them quite prominently in their main showcase.
In the big showcase
throughout the year. You know, in the past they've always had an ID at Xbox sizzle reel in there which highlights some cool games. You know, games during their last showcase like Ravenlock, Last Case Benedict Fox, etc. They all showed in the same way they showed any of the other games. So it's just the ID at Xbox shows that they just really seem to struggle with. And I think they just want to differentiate from the main show as much as possible. But I think in doing so, I kind of reducing the quality significantly. So they kind of really need to go back to the drawing board with this event. And hopefully come up with something just a little bit better. Obviously, content is always going to be king, but you kind of need to wrap it up nicely as well.
Yes, definitely. Any final thoughts on that, Luke? Or are you happy with what you said already?
Garbaggio is my final thought for the show.
Garbaggio, I like it. Yeah, that's fair. I think we need to put it out there really, because it's got to be sorted, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, not that they'll listen to our podcast, but there we go.
Well, they've not listened to anybody so far.
Well, that's the problem. Maybe they do need to listen to people, you know?
Probably would help alleviate their show a little bit. But
we are the passionate,
maybe they're just,
we're the passionate people who love indie games. So listen to us because we love indie games. So maybe that would be a good idea. Like us kind of people, you know what I mean?
Just, even people who don't love indie games, just at least listen to people about the way that you do these shows, because I can't imagine that they have to, like, just because they're on Twitch they have to do it in this particular format. Like, surely they could just do like an Indie World-esque show but have it on Twitch. I don't understand why we have to have this absolutely cringy, garbage, boring, stupid, mind-numbingly terrible kind of faux banter and then chat interaction. It's just a waste of time that I'll never get back, and I'll go to my grave regretting that I watched any idea Xbox shows as a result. So surely they could just do one, like test it and see what the feedback's like. But then again, does that even matter? Because it doesn't seem like they're listening to the feedback. So
no, exactly. I don't think they can. That's like you were saying. I think you might be right about that.
Maybe they're locked into having this kind of interactive element, hosts, back and forth. That's it. Like, maybe that's just part of it. In which case, that was a stupid bloody idea. But fair enough. Get it out of the way, and then please go to YouTube and do a proper show. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
I think with it being Twitch, they're kind of going for that talk show vibe.
Talk show vibe.
In a way, I guess, because that's
terrible.
I guess what Twitch are trying to promote, but because if it was just a normal showcase, there's no reason for that. I mean, there's no reason for it only to be on Twitch anyway. But I guess that's just kind of what the only way I can only imagine the agreement dictates it needs to be in this format, Luke.
Must be.
Why would they do it any other way? Actually, one of the things that their main showcases recently have got a lot of praise for is at least the production value and the format, because their main shows typically, or at least more recently, have been just very game. You know, we can criticize their choices around like what games they're going to show and things like that, but generally it's just game with very few talking, segments of just talking. You know, maybe Sarah Bond comes on, but that's it. And for some reason, the idea of Xbox is just vastly different, despite the fact that they get a lot of praise for that and obviously get a lot of criticism for the idea of Xbox format. So
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but yeah, hopefully they change. But yeah, should we move on to our last foray?
I think we should, Matt.
Good stuff. And unless there's anything else you wanted to say about that idea of Xbox, but I think we've beat that.
I'll just keep going until I
exactly
shoot my brains out. So yeah, let's move on.
Yep, sounds good. So yeah, move on to our last topic of the night. I just want to say a massive thank you to Scott for being a legend and doing a great job on that topic, for leading that. It was a great job. I'm just going to step back all the time, I think, and let you take the lead. But yeah, so finally, guys, we're going to wind up with final topic of the night, and that will be basically our hopefully more positive one now, to focus on some new releases of games we've played recently. It can be of any time this month, I suppose we could say, because we've had a while since the last podcast, or any games we're looking forward to in the near future. So yes, let me move that forward. And okay, so tell you what, I might as well start if that's okay with you guys, just because one's popped up on the screen there, and I think it might be worth me just diving into a little bit of chat about a game which I am currently playing, which is a game called OTXO, which is spelled OTXO, just in case you're searching it. So yeah, I've been having an absolute blast with this game. Very kindly sent over a key from Super Rare Originals, the publisher, and yeah, this has been developed by a solo developer. I think it's called Lateralis or something, I think it is the developer name, and like I say, solo developed game, also including the music part of it as well, which is absolutely incredible. The soundtrack to this, it's just like the adrenaline through your veins essentially when you play this game. The music runs through you. It is an experience, I tell you guys. It looks so modest, but yeah, it is. I swear to God, this game is so good. You've got to check it out. It's just dropped on the 20th, I think it was, of April. Hoping to do a little bit of another video on it as well, but I wanted to feature it tonight because I'm absolutely loving it right now. It's a roguelike, top-down, obviously, twin-stick shooter style. It's intense. It does, the reactions of the enemies are fast and furious, but you do have an upper hand. You have a special technique which slows down time, a bit like the old Katana Zero. Scott, you might like that. The Katana Zero slowdown.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the bullet time, whatever you want to call it, bullet time. Is it bullet time? Yeah. But you slow down time, and you can dodge around the bullets. You can roll as well when you slow down time, and you can actually get invincibility frames through the bullets. So it's absolutely awesome. It just feels so good. The punchiness of the game is just really, if the impact of all your bullets feel amazing. The sound is incredible. All of the guns have a different sound, and they have so much weight to them and just punch to them. Seeing it without sound and music is half the battle, really. If you listen to this game as well as obviously see it, you would just, it's another thing entirely when you've got the sound and music running. It's proper sort of energizing soundtrack, which is super cool. I really like the sort of black and white vibe as well, with the blood, of course, in color. That's just pretty stylish, isn't it? And some of the animations and everything when you take down enemies just looks so cool, especially in slow motion. You can basically use a combo meter as well, so it sort of encourages you to play fast. What you'll find is, like I say, it's roguelike. Each room you'll encounter, you've got your health bar on the right. As you can see, mine's going down quite heavily at the moment because I'm getting ambushed. But yeah, so you've got I might even be about to die. Yes, I am. So I just died there. This is my gameplay, by the way, guys, from earlier. Like I say, each room is kind of like the usual sort of roguelike dungeon crawler style thing. So you have a full health thing, and you've got the full health to get through that particular room, and then if you get through that room, even if your health goes down nearly all the way, the next room it'll be reinstated to a full health bar. So the game kind of encourages you to play fast and furious, get your combos going, and you get more points and more coin in the top right there that you can spend in between rooms on different upgrades, like bullets that reflect off walls. There's also a thing where you can throw your gun and it turns into a turret. There's all different kinds of upgrades, 20% more damage, obviously those kinds of things as well. Generally speaking though, this is a big ramble, but you know, this game is fantastic. It's only like £10 at the moment on Steam. Honestly, it's fantastic to play. The gameplay is so on point. It's just really tight, really punchy, and yeah, I highly recommend checking it out, guys. It's very simple in a sense. Like I say, you play from room to room, take down the enemies, the adrenaline runs through you. It really does feel good. And then you get to the next room, you start again. You want to take it tactically, slow down time when you need to. Use that quite a bit is the best way, because it does reinstate itself quite quickly. If you see in the middle of the screen, that red circle is the slow down time meter. So when that rebuilds back up, you've got that reinstated and you can slow down time. But I just love the way all the sort of debris goes everywhere. Even though it's quite a basic art style, there's a lot of breakable stuff, and it just looks phenomenal. But yeah, that's my little mini review on OTXO. It's a big thumbs up from me on it. I highly recommend checking it out, guys. Get on board and play this beauty. There you go. That's for me. That's my my game that's already out now, so check it out, guys. That's a little mini review. As I say, I'll stop yapping on now and pass it over to one of you guys if there's any games you've been playing, or is any games you are looking forward to playing soon. Who would like to go first? Scotty, baby?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of playing some older games. I mentioned Inscription earlier on. I should hopefully complete that pretty soon. Really enjoying that. But I have also been checking out Loop Hero. This past few weeks, I came to Xbox and PC Game Pass actually fairly recently, and I know that was kind of a big hit maybe a year or two ago on Steam. I remember a lot of people talking about that. It's kind of another kind of idle game, similar to Vampire Survivors.
Yeah,
you don't have to do much.
That's it. Yeah.
But you know, I don't mind playing that on my laptop while I'm maybe watching a movie or watching TV with the wife or something, you know. So I've been playing that. I've been checking out Coffee Talk. Just a bit of a chill game. It's kind of I guess just for those who don't know, you basically play as a barista in your own coffee shop who only opens at night. So it's about the people that come in. You talk to people, learn about them, learn about their lives, and make them coffee or tea or hot chocolate or whatever they ask.
How realistic is the actual barista element of this? We're talking we can pick our beans, you know, how we...
No, I'm not that far in. There hasn't been any bean choices.
They've been
discussions. Do you want a cappuccino? Do you want a latte? Do you want a...
Come on, man. There's room out there for a coffee sim within
there's absolutely one of them, Luke. There's 100% one of them on Steam. I can guarantee.
Yeah, but not with the social persona-esque element that you're also describing. Like I need both of those things. That would be a great game.
You need to merge the two. And you don't know. It might get a little bit more deep. At the moment, you've kind of got like a little coffee, sort of like encyclopedia in the game, which tells you kind of what to make and stuff. So it's pretty interesting, pretty chill. I've quite enjoyed that. Episode 1's been out a while. Episode 2's literally just come out. So I've been interested in playing that a little bit. Like I say, just it's a completely different vibe. It's just really relaxing. Again, just something you can play a while, not having to think too much. Relatively short as well. Like I say, I think each episode's about 3 to 4 hours ish. Yeah, I'm not quite the coffee connoisseur like Luke is, though, unfortunately. So maybe I've got lower standards to what I expect from my coffee games. And then in terms of things that I'm looking forward to, Indy, I mean, I think I mentioned to you this past week. As soon as I've completed Inscription, I think I'm going to pick up Dredge, which I think a lot of people seem to be fairly excited about. I know it's a completely different vibe again, but I played Moonglow Bay last year. I mean, or was it the year before now? I remember seeing it actually for the first time on one of your shows, Indy.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we were on one together, weren't we? Yeah, remember.
Yeah, I used to fish a lot with my dad as a kid, so I kind of got like an emotional attachment to fishing a little bit.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
Moonglow Bay was good. I enjoyed it. I kind of dropped off though because it had the worst screen tearing in my life that I've ever seen in my life. In fact, before Moonglow Bay, I really wasn't susceptible to screen tearing at all. It was something that people would say there was issues, and I never really noticed it.
Yeah, it's awful.
And then I noticed it was that bad. I noticed it the first time, and I just couldn't unsee it, so I dropped it because it was awful. But it was what I played. I quite enjoyed, and this is kind of like a. It's got a very dark, sinister tone. I think I've seen some people describe it like a little Lovecraftian. You know, we talked about last case of Benedict Fox as well. But it's kind of like it's got like fishing RPG elements to it, which is really interesting. So I'm gonna I've added that to the wish list. I'm gonna be picking that up once I've completed Inscription.
Very nice. Yeah, no, that's a game that is definitely getting a lot of love at the moment, and sure, it's well deserved. Yeah, it looks very interesting. Lots of people talking about it, which is great to see. And I look forward to hearing your thoughts on that one for sure. So yeah, let me know what you think about it when you pick that up for sure. Lukey baby, is there any games you're looking forward to, unless you had any more you want to talk about, Scott, before we pass over to Luke?
No, I'm interested to hear. I'm hoping that Luke's gonna say something nice.
So he's had a negative for every answer.
I'm just messing. Yeah, no, I'm good with
it. Yeah, what's
no. I think I'm the same lines as you, Scott. So I'm actually quite interested in Dredge. I've seen a lot of things about it that suggest that it would be up my street, namely kind of mysterious story and Lovecraftian stuff. There's just the concept of going out in these kind of vast oceans on your little boat sounds quite relaxing and terrifying. If that makes any sense. I think that's the intent of the game. So very interested in that. Benedict Fox is obviously coming up as well, so very excited about that. And yeah, I mean, I haven't been playing much else really, so I think, but Dredge has been on my list in kind of in interest terms for a couple of weeks. I've kind of ummed and ahed about getting it. Like, I don't want to pick it up and just drop it back. Not because it won't be good, but just because something else might come along. So I'm kind of waiting until I've got a bit of a lull, and then I'll pick that. I'll definitely pick that up because it looks super, super cool.
Yeah, I think that's why I've opted not to pick it up just yet, Luke. I'm kind of I want to get Inscription finished. I'm very much somebody who only likes to play one single player game at a time, typically. Like Loop Hero, I don't mind playing that at the same time because it's, there's nothing really to it. It's just like an idle game. Same with the kind of like Vampire Survivors. But when it's like a single player with any kind of story to it, I kind of like to focus on that one game. So I want to get Inscription out of the way. And then hopefully I'll have time to play Dredge before, I know it's indie show, but we got Tears of the Kingdom coming out very soon. So
don't mention that to Indy. Yeah,
it's a very big triple A segment of the year coming up. I think it's fair to say. So
I think that's the thing. It's like heavy AAA period coming up, and not just the problem is not just like like a Dead Space where it's kind of like a 12-hour game and then you're done. It's all these massive time sink games like Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy 16 and Diablo 4 and like all of this stuff's coming up, and there's not enough time to play them. But there's some really good indies coming up as well, which is awesome. Yeah, but it's just entering. There's always those peaks and troughs of like big indie game periods where there's kind of mega successes, big games, and then conversely there's the AAA periods as well. So.
Yeah. Are there any other big upcoming games, Indy, that people should be aware of interest? We've got Last Case Benedict Fox this month. Is there anything stand out in May, June time at the moment?
So focus on the near because there's so many really at the moment. But we'll move over to maybe that when we get there. But yeah, the moment I've got a few to shout out if you want. So obviously, like I say, OTXO is out now. Dredge came out at the end of last month, actually. Coming out on the same day as Benedict Fox is Bramble the Mountain King. Don't know if you've heard of that game, guys. It's very much kind of a Little Nightmares kind of style game. Very cool atmosphere to it. Yeah, just like this fantastic fantasy sort of world. Yeah, where it just like has a great atmosphere, very like horrific sort of like characters. But yeah, like I say, it's very much a Little Nightmares kind of game, which looks absolutely wonderful. Actually, don't know if you've seen anything on this game, have you guys?
I don't think so, actually.
Yeah, it looks familiar. I'm pretty sure it must have showed at one of the showcases we covered last year, Andy.
Yes, it probably was. Yeah, but yeah, it's out on the 27th. But yeah, like it's a matter of getting through stealth sections and stuff. And yeah, this trailer's actually a bit more predominantly on the, not so much on the gameplay focus, but it is kind of like Little Nightmares, like I say, that kind of aspect. But I think some of it is not necessarily side on, so it's the orientation's a bit different, 3D, I think. But yeah, no, it's very cool. There's some interesting sort of like artwork going on in the game, and really cool design. And like I say, the atmosphere seems pretty spot on to me. But if you like this sort of style of game, I think it'll be a pretty cool pickup, like I say, on the 27th.
I've just been looking at that releases.com, Indy, that you shared.
It's good.
Pretty good website. And I've actually got one for Luke.
Oh, nice.
Coming out in May. Espresso Tycoon.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah. And actually, one thing I didn't mention about Coffee Talk, actually, it's the one bit of the game that I'm really not interested in, but there's like a latte art section. The only thing about it is because I'm generally playing on my laptop, it's not great to do latte art with a trackpad. I imagine it would be better with a mouse. But yeah, this Espresso Tycoon, mate, it's got stencils. You build a coffee shop.
This is there's a demo. There's a demo on Steam. Right, here we go. This is now we're talking.
Oh dear. There had to be, didn't there? There had to be something around for coffee, especially.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Now he's scared of Indy. Now he's happy.
We spent a full review on it.
Yeah, I'll do a channel review.
Sounds good. Love it.
Yeah. Is there any release date? I think one, indeed, just off slight tangent, but one game I'm really looking forward to, the more I've seen of it, is Pacific Drive.
Oh, me too. So much.
Which is that car rogue like almost.
So much. Yeah, like, I cannot wait for it. It was at PAX. I wished it was going to be at WAS, but obviously I did actually ask them, and they said they're only at PAX. I think they might be an American developer anyway. So but it looks so good.
That's just so cool. Yeah, I really love the look of that. I think it's definitely this year, but I don't know if they've committed to a month or anything like that. So
yeah, I'm thinking I don't know, I might be completely wrong, but I'm wondering if this game has made you think of that because of the color toning in it. Is that what's spurred your memory? So I don't know, because there's a sort of a cross-process look, which is the sort of greeny tones, right. And it's got that in that game as well. Maybe it's subconsciously.
Subconsciously it's like triggered that.
It's both got a nice atmosphere to them, actually.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. In fact, that's probably one of my most anticipated games of the year. Just because of what they're trying to do there. It looks super cool. Atmosphere in that looks insane as well. So.
I'm so with you on that, and I really can't wait for that game. It's very different, isn't it? Like, you've got to keep your car, maintained, and it's just unusual, isn't it? Like,
very,
cool,
very different.
Cool idea. Like, you've got all these sort of like weird sort of upgrades to your car, it looks like, and stuff, which and I think, isn't it closing in or something, the world or something? I don't know. Do you know much about how the actual gameplay works, or sort of?
It's a storm, isn't it, that's closing in on you. The idea is to get away from it, but it's all quite mysterious, which is just an element I really love as well, when you don't quite know what's going on.
Definitely.
But then you unravel that. I think that's super cool.
I think that's going to be a really good game for sure. Definitely. I can't wait for that one. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple others coming as well, or maybe have already just come out actually. One to mention is Gun Jam, which is a rhythm based kind of FPS shooty game with a cool sort of soundtrack. I played the demo of this. It's a really fun game if you like kind of like Metal Hellsinger and games like that. It's very much along those lines. It's just obviously a bit of a different kind of vibe to it, different kind of music, and different vibe, but the art style is really nice, really colourful and pops off the screen. Definitely a cool rhythm game to check out if you like the rhythm FPS games for sure. Like I say, really enjoyed the demo. I'm not sure if I think it might have just come out a couple of days ago or something like this one.
Yeah, just last week, 19th.
Was it? Okay, cheers, buddy. Thanks for checking. You're on newreleases.com, aren't you? Nice. It's a great site, that is, I tell you. I've been using that for years. When I did like top 10 of the month videos, that was my lifesaver. Just all in one place, nice and easy. But yeah, so that's on Steam, I think. Is it on any other platforms, does it say on there at all?
Ooh, let me check for you, mate. I'll get back to you on that. I was actually on Steam when I looked at that one, because I do remember seeing that one recently and thought it looked pretty cool. I did really enjoy Metal Hellsinger as well, so it was kind of,
it might be worth checking.
In that vein.
Definite. There's another one I want to mention as well called Rusted Moss, which is a game that Raylia is checking out at the moment on his channel. Raylia, the YouTuber that is, who's been on the channel before, great friend. But yeah, check out this game if you like Metroidvanias. It's got a cool sort of grapple hook mechanic going on in it. This one came out I think around 10 days ago roughly, that's a rough guess. But yeah, Metroidvania, cool art style. Sort of like I think it's post-apocalyptic. That's from just a guess in the memory, but yeah, don't know massive amount about this game, but it's a Metroidvania with a cool art style and a really cool sort of grapple hook mechanic going on. And yeah, like if you like Metroidvanias, maybe worth looking into. The other one to mention as well, you've heard a lot about this on the channel already, is Trinity Fusion. That one is now in early access on Steam. So yeah, fully out in that, and they've got a sort of a plan, of course, for the 1.0 release. Once it comes out into 1.0, it will go into console as well. But yeah, super cool game. Really, really awesome roguelike action. Punchy as well, and just challenging Metroidvania elements. Really, really cool game. Cool developers as well, who we spoke to at EGX last year. We should try and get them on for a podcast, actually. He's a cool guy. But yeah, really cool, like I say, roguelike Metroidvania game, and 3 different characters you can control with different abilities, quite a lot of variety in the actual controls and techniques you can use. But yeah, check it out, guys. Trinity Fusion. One game I'm going to dangerously fire it to Scott and see if he's interested in it, if that's all right, just because it's more up your street. I sort of picked this one out because I thought you might be interested in it, but if you're not, don't worry. It's Wild Frost. Have you heard of that, my friend?
I can't say I have, man.
No, that's cool. No worries. It's a deck builder. It's on the screen right now. It's not actually not. It's a chucklefish. Oh, you have?
Yes,
cool.
I remember seeing it. I thought it looked very Slay the Spire.
Right. Okay. Cool.
What I will say is, I really wasn't a big fan of the art style.
Sure, I wondered if it would go away.
Character designs, but I think the card mechanics looked pretty good. Obviously, big fan of Slay the Spire, so it's very much up that street, I guess. But yeah, I didn't vibe with the art style.
No worries.
Actually, but I still do actually have it on my wish list, because I was
cool.
thinking maybe if that goes on sale, it'd be a good one to to check out, because I love deck building.
Yeah, man, you're the deck building resident in charge on that. so you've taken over that, because I'm definitely not an expert in that field, if I'm honest. So it's great to have you on board for that, and obviously all the other features that you bring to the podcast. Love it. But yeah, obviously, let's work our way back to the daddy of the moment. Obviously OTXO as well is my daddy right now, because I'm loving it, but one I'm looking forward to greatly, as I think we all are, is Last Case of Benedict Fox. We're only waiting a little bit longer now, guys, and it's out on the 27th. I hopefully will be getting a review key or a key to do some content with. Whether it's a review or not, I don't know. Whether I might just do a stream or something. The embargo will probably be day one. If not, it'll be day before release. Hopefully it'll be day before. That'd be nice. But yeah, either way, apparently they say they're going to be getting stuff out soon. But yeah, they were holding back to make sure the game is of the top quality that they can put out. So they're holding back with that. So I've not had it too far ahead of launch, unfortunately, but they're making sure it's the best version of the game to put out. Anyway, I'm giving you way too much information about that I don't need to give you. Point is, I'm going to be hopefully getting this review key soon. I think by Monday, they're saying. And I cannot wait to check it out on the channel, really, because it's just an amazing, Metroidvania. And it's not just that it's a Metroidvania, it's just so unique. I love the interaction between you and your demon companion, as the developer calls it. I just love that. It's kind of, I like to think it sort of was an alter ego almost, but like, you know what I mean? It's kind of, the mystery of that is so intriguing, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm curious as to how the story pans out from that perspective. Like who or what the alter ego or demon companion turns out to be.
Exactly, yeah. It's got to be something going on there. Like, I mean, I think there is this thing, I forget what it's called now, but there's this device you use. I think that might be the way you actually beckon the demon companion, though. But yeah, I'm interested to find out. There's also this upgrades thing where you've got the tattooist as well, which is interesting. Like, there's just some cool abilities going on. There's so much to this game. I think it's just very unique, and it's I think it's gonna be special. I love the Lovecraftian vibe as well. But yeah, I'm so up for it. I mean, we've said a lot about it already, so I'm just ready to go, and cannot wait to explore the mystery. Like I say, it's Metroidvania, which is my favorite thing, but on top of that is so much more than that in this game. I think it's just that's very brings it up so much. It's just a very interesting game. But yeah, so you're excited for it, Scott, are you?
Yeah, can't wait. Is it Tuesday or Friday?
Friday,
Friday,
I
isn't
think,
it?
is it? Or what's the 27th actually?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so that's when it will be out. Actually, that's right. Yeah, so I'll see what happens. I'm not sure how long the game is actually. I need to read this. If they sent me a press kit or something, it'll tell you. Hopefully, it'll probably say like 10 hours, and it's actually 30 hours or something though. That's the usual thing. But yeah, Lukey baby, are you excited to dive into this glorious looking Metroidvania?
Nice. Yes, I am. Yeah, I played the demo. Really enjoyed it.
Awesome, yeah.
And I just think it's a super cool concept.
Yeah,
really love the art style's fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
Looks incredible. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Nice, fantastic stuff. Well, I can't wait to talk about this one when we've all played it. That'd be really cool. Yeah, so you think you'll dive in day one, guys, or is it going to be on the back burner for a bit?
I think it's a day one for me, Indy.
Yeah, nice, good stuff.
Been looking forward to this since they first showed it at the Xbox Showcase last year. So
yeah,
it was a real standout game from that, which I think is testament to the quality of it. So yeah,
nice.
Thursday it is.
Fantastic. Oh, good stuff.
I'm gonna save this one actually,
nice.
Because I'm probably actually gonna pick it up on Steam.
Okay, cool.
And play on the Steam Deck because I've got a big flight coming up, so I'd like something that I can really sink my teeth into. So I'm gonna save it for that for a couple of weeks.
That'd be great. Yeah. It's like definitely the type of game that you can really immerse yourself into. I think it's a good shout. Yeah. So yeah, I think just can't wait to explore it though. Like I say, I mean the demo was really nicely done actually. I think it gave a really good taste of it, just ending with that boss, and just it's felt quite open as well. I feel it's going to be really lots to explore. The different worlds that I've seen since that demo though that is shown off is really cool to see. Really a bit of variety in there. But yeah, I'm interested to see about these different abilities that you pick up as well, which I've seen in other videos as well. But there was one video which was like a 20-minute long one or something, and I kind of started watching that, and I always thought it was showing me a bit too much, if you know what I mean. I do think we have seen a lot of this game, and with this kind of game, I'm already sold on it, like we all are. So I didn't really watch the whole thing. I sort of stopped that one because I didn't want to just be shown everything. You know what I mean? I want to sort of discover it for myself. But I'm so sold on it.
There's always that risk, isn't there?
Yeah.
Me and Luke will often laugh about Deathloop.
Right.
where there is, that chance where games do get shown too much and you can actually get a little bit sick of them or bored of them before they even come out. I think it's hard to get at that point, but some games do manage it. I think for this one, I haven't actually looked at anything about it since your stream, Indy, of the demo, because at that point I was kind of sold on the game and I kind of thought, well, I don't really need to see anything else at this point. So even when it showed up the ID at Xbox, sure, I wasn't really paying attention to that part because, I don't need to see anymore. I've seen enough. It's it's at that point for me.
Cool, man. Fantastic. I like the excitement, guys. Fantastic stuff. And Mr. Blismo in the chat is saying it looks really great. You're don't need to tell you, obviously, you are a big fan of Metroidvanias, Mr. Blismo. I know you love the Hollow Knight goodness. Good to see you in. And guessing you're going to be jumping into it. It's great to see people enjoying these games, together. And I'll be interested to find out about what, you think of it, guys. And Meisuko, I'm not actually sure if I know that game. Do you guys know what After Image is? Am I losing my mind or After Image? No, don't
ring any bells.
No. Cool. But I'm sure Meisuko is very interested in this game as well. So I wonder if he'll be jumping in. But anyways, guys, is there any other games or anything you've been checking out or you're looking forward to? Or did you want to wind things up there?
I think we've covered everything I wanted to do, mate. So I'm happy to wrap up there. I think we've covered some pretty cool games.
Yeah, most definitely. It's been a great show, guys. Thank you very much for being legends as always. So we shall wind things up there. Well, I think we've covered some pretty amazing stuff today. And we've hung out with some awesome people in the chat. I just want to say the hugest thank you to all of you guys in the chat for hanging out. Thank you very much for being here. It means the world. There you go. After Image is a Chinese Metroidvania. I have to check that out. Got a couple of sort of Chinese, I don't know if you would class it as Chinese Metroidvania, but obviously Bow, Path of the Teal Lotus, that's on my radar. And 9 Souls, I think it's called, is another one which I'm very much excited for on that. I wonder if it's similar to that. But okay, it's a bit brighter and pretty. Okay, I'll check that out, Meisuko. Thanks for the recommendation. We love that. But yes, if you did want to continue the conversation, guys, by the way, there is a Discord. There is a link to that in the description below. If you want to join the Indie Games podcast Discord or the Indie Gamer Discord or whatever it's called these days, join us over on Discord and we can chat more about some cool indie games and share in the games you're playing and, discover some new games, essentially. But thank you so much, everyone who's joined us. As I say, shout out to Meisuko, always a legend in there. It's great to see you, my friend. Blismo, it's been awesome to have you hanging out with us today. Thank you for being here, buddy. Stubbs Gaming, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for hanging out. Who else did we have in the chat? We had Mr. Domez with the legendary super chat and very kind words as well. Thank you for being here, buddy. We really appreciate it. Who else did we have in? Judsy, baby. Judzilla in the house. Thank you for hanging out, my friend. Great to see you. We also had the Mad Belmont hanging out again. Thank you for being here. We had Sentinel in the house as well. Thank you for coming by, my friend. Who else did we have? We had BMG popping by with the Sonic slander. And yes, we had the Indie Journey. We had lots of people in. You're all legendary. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out. We're going to try and probably work out a way of getting this a bit more regular. We have talked about potentially doing maybe shorter shows and maybe increasing the frequency of that. We're going to talk about this sort of stuff. Now we've got the 3 amigos together. We are a strong 3. I enjoy doing this with you two guys so we can work out what we want to do and just, get the content flowing essentially. So, but I just want to say thank you so much to, firstly, Luke, for joining me again for another Indie Games podcast. Always a pleasure to hang out with you, brother. You want to shout out where they can find you, my man?
No, thank you as usual. Always a great pleasure, and it's nice to do this after not doing it for a while. So that was awesome. And you can find me at LukeSteele90 on Twitter. So go and look at me there.
Do it. He's got some good stuff on that. You have got some. If you like coffee and if you like
coffee,
expensive statues of the pop culture variety.
Covered.
You've definitely got you covered on that.
I've got you covered. That's the place to be.
I mean,
if that's what that's a
a
very
correction.
narrow window of interests. But if you are into those,
well, I don't know. That's the pop culture statues are pretty impressive.
yeah. So by all means, if you want to go and check that out, then go and follow me.
Obviously, some gaming talk as well is always.
Oh yeah, of course. That's all ancillary to the rest of it.
Absolutely. No, great stuff, buddy. Thanks for hanging out today. Scotty Baby on his second appearance as a co-host. He is a legend, already taking the reins of doing a topic on his own and making me look bad already. So I'm not happy about that. But no, I'm kidding. Just kidding. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, brother. You've done amazing today. And yeah, where can they find you, bro?
Yeah, I appreciate it, mate. It was a lot of fun, mate. If anyone's interested, they can check me out at SX2. No expensive statues or pictures of fancy coffees, but a lot of bad takes. So if you're into that kind of thing, then check it out.
Always good to have a few bad takes, isn't it? No, you do tweet a lot, actually, so Scott's definitely well worth a follow, and he's a great guy as well, as Luke is as too. But yeah, so give him a follow, guys, and like I say, join the Discord if you want to chat for us over there, link in the description below. If you've been enjoying the content today, we would really appreciate a like if you fancy it. It means a lot. And if you haven't subscribed already, definitely feel free to. If you're a fan of indie games, that's what we're all about on this channel. So like I say, hit subscribe and the notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest indie games goodness on the channel. But yeah, thank you so much to all you legends joining us. It means the world to be able to do this with you all here and just sharing in the indie goodness, as we love to say. Meisuko loves that saying, so we're going to keep it rolling. Love to see Meisuko using the indie goodness in the chat there. But yeah, thanks guys, you're awesome. We'll be back again with another indie games podcast, maybe sooner, because we probably want to get the start of the month back up and running. But look out on Twitter, follow us on Twitter, and we'll post about it then, and then you'll know when we're going to go live with the next indie games podcast. But yeah, anyway guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Not much less of it, I don't think, and have a great time gaming. Definitely those indie games as well, and we'll catch you again soon, guys. Later.